Yeah, I just think like Israel versus Palestine. I don't know. It's the answer is just incredibly simple. I do love that, like, we have managed to avoid every major topic in the world. It's been like 10 episodes now, right?
So far, we have.
Yeah, how many episodes have we done? I don't even know. Like 6 or 7?
That's a good question. I think it's I think it's 5. We have the lost episodes, which are not uploaded or edited.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Just because of the technical challenge involved in editing those 4K.
Yeah.
3 camera angle files don't edit themselves.
No, they don't.
As far as what's actually live right now, yeah, we have 5 episodes.
So
there's 5 episodes.
So half of what I said.
Halfway to 10.
That's pretty normal for me.
Yeah, I feel like that's too low to brag about not touching on.
Yeah.
Wow, guys.
We haven't solved all the world's problems yet? Shit.
Guys, we made it through 3 episodes without talking about
and we brought peace to the Middle East.
How long has it been? It's been like 2 weeks since the last one.
So it's been 2 weeks since then. What has happened? Oh yeah, I was gonna record an episode about the Game Awards and just like games in general, but couldn't get everybody synced on a time for that, so we just kind of was like, all right, it's not. Honestly, the Game Awards were better than I think last year, but it's still just one giant commercial, really. Like, it's
at the end of the day,
and like at the end of the day, that's what it is. So
even the like awards themselves, like the developers and stuff going up and giving their speech, they were so afraid of a repeat happening. Something happened last year where a guy talked for like 7 or 8 minutes straight, and it felt like 20 minutes.
Oh no!
And it was so.
By the way, that was me.
And it was so funny though. I mean, that was such an iconic moment, and they even brought the guy back, which was shocking. But to kind of like make fun of that. Really? But they would play people off like within like a couple minutes, like not even maybe 45 seconds. It's like, oh, the music's starting, and they used like a very emotional song. Like
that's really funny.
Like
it's like the Academy Awards. They always play like emotional music and cut off their speech.
Like, no, but it's not though, because at the Academy Awards they play like this majestic, like generic theme.
Yeah.
But at the Game Awards, it was like they were playing like a Thomas Newman track, like delicate, man. like you know, the Finding Nemo music, you know. It was are we supposed to be sad?
Interrupts the speech.
Are we supposed to cry as they're getting off stage?
That's horrible.
All right.
That's horrible. Do you remember, Gabe, the name or like the game that he was presenting? The guy that went for too long, 20 minutes long?
Yeah, it was the voice actor that plays Kratos in the new God of War games. I don't remember his name, but you can look up his speech.
Oh, I remember the memes actually.
If you see his face, you'll recognize him.
Yeah,
but they brought him back. Kojima showed up with Key. Is it Key and who's the Key and Peele guy? Who's the director who's making?
Jordan Peele.
Is it Jordan Peele? Yeah, Jordan.
I think so.
Jordan Peele is the one directing the movies. He walked on stage with Kojima. And they're doing something together. The Death Stranding Metal Gear Solid guy. That was pretty cool. They didn't show anything really. I mean, but it was like, all right, that'll be cool.
They're hanging out.
Okay, I have to ask, is this the right link? I just posted it in the stream.
Let me check.
Can you just tell me if it's the right
posted a link?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. 9 minutes is way too long. Sorry. 9 minutes is way too long.
That's a long speech.
Like even if you have a speech that's like godly, like Steve Jobs level of like planned and designed to be like really, really capturing, 9 minutes is too long.
Yeah,
do like 5 minutes or less.
Oh, and when we were watching it live, because I think I was streaming it last year too, it literally felt like 20-30 minutes. It was something. Oh my god, why my volume Oh my God. Sorry. The tabs are blank. We have to check our TikTok, by the way. I don't know if anyone sent us anything new, but we'll see. We'll do that. We'll do that later.
Oh yeah. I gotta see what the users have submitted.
I've been thinking this is something where I don't even know if I'll reveal this publicly yet, but I kind of want, you know how like YouTubers will do the like, I did your bad ideas video where they'll just pull comments because everyone always thinks that they know what video would work. You know, Mega 64 makes fun of ideas and things getting pitched to them.
Yes.
But I think it would be funny to like literally go all the way with that, because on TikTok, you know, short videos, right? 30, 45 seconds. Some people's ideas are really simple. What if I offered to literally make like someone's video, like word for word? They could even send me footage to do it. All I would do is edit it, and put it together, and then of course, and I would let them post it too. Like I would obviously I would post it later, but like, what if I actually did host like a thing like that where people could submit, and it wouldn't have to be anything in relation to me. It could literally just be a video that they're trying to make.
Right. So they like give you kind of like a little script, and then you put it together for them.
Because what if you think what if you're an ideas guy, right? And you just don't know how to edit. But what if you're really convinced that you have good ideas, and you're like,
listen, I got a great pitch for a TikTok.
I have a fit. It's so funny. I have this. We do the SpongeBob meme.
I'm holding the phone.
And they could film themselves, like they could send me, and I'll let them have the video, and they can post it and see how it does. And then I'll like a week later, I'll post my version of it that gives like a behind the scenes or whatever.
I think that would be fun. Try, though.
No, I think that would actually be kind of a fun like project.
Well, especially with the comparison, I'd be curious to see like your edit versus theirs. That'd be great.
Yeah, like I might, and it might be the more or less the same video. Just mine would have more context and like explanation on like. Because I think just reposting the same video in two places might cause issues. Like, all right, you upload it and then I upload it. But like, I don't know. That thought occurred to me while I was driving home the other day, and I was like, that could be fun. That could be like a fun idea. Or it could go horribly wrong.
Yeah, you never know.
But
it's one of those things where you'd have to like try a few different ones and like see how each of them goes.
Yeah.
Like let me select the best one.
And again, if it doesn't go well, it's like it's not that much loss. It's a 30-second video.
Right, exactly.
Or whatever. It's like easy. Especially if they're providing the material and the ideas, and I'm just painting by the numbers. Like, all right, this is what you
title's like, I make your stupid videos.
Yeah, it could be.
They instantly
it could be something just like that. So I don't know. You might see that posted to my account at some point. You know, start the new year strong.
Amen.
With just bad content. Why not? But if you don't have video ideas and you just want to send us videos,
start fresh.
Just straight up bad content.
I actually posted the first clip from this podcast, which I've been meaning to do more of, and I just haven't had time.
Oh, but yeah.
That actually did okay. That got like 1,000 views.
Yeah, I know.
For an account with nothing on it. And just
on YouTube Shorts, it got like 4,000, didn't it?
Did it?
I think so. I got like 4,000 views and 107 likes or whatever.
I forgot to even look at the YouTube one.
Yeah.
Which one?
Gabe put up a clip from our first podcast.
Here,
on YouTube. On YouTube Shorts in particular.
The best views.
The Christian OnlyFans. Wow, yeah, that got views on YouTube Shorts. That's so funny. I didn't even think to look.
It got more there than it did on TikTok even.
So that's something we'll probably do more of. But
wow, that's crazy.
That is our account though. We have a TikTok and a YouTube account. You can tag us and stuff because we do react to videos on here sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I keep yawning tonight. I'm a little sleepy boy, sleepy bitch.
Yeah. Listen, it's been a long year.
2023 is a doozy, guys.
We're all like
I need a nap.
We're just crawling over the finish line for 2023.
For sure.
2024 though is going to be really. I can feel it. It's going to be weird. There's going to be weird stuff happening in 2024, but like I think it's going to be good weird. But things are going to get shaken up. Also, it's the political season, so Andrew's going to get his wish. We're going to be
the election coming
up.
Yeah,
full politics.
It's going to get shaken up.
we have to acknowledge it, and you know, maybe we can have some debates. Maybe we can get some special guests.
Oh no!
I think we should do real debates.
I think we could really
for real issues that we really care about between.
We should just bring on 2 guests who are the polar opposite of one another and make them fight. Just like feed the fire.
Yeah. Like a man and a woman, you know, polar opposites.
Okay, it would be really funny specifically with like rules that is like marriage style. Like you have to have a debate about politics, but as though you're a married couple. Like
because has to stay in that context.
Those are the best.
That would be fun.
It's so fucking ridiculous. It goes from like you're not even arguing about whether or not Biden is here or not. You're arguing about why you said it that way. It's the best. It's the best.
That's good. Yeah, that's
way
good.
Better. It's way better than
that's really petty.
Like
that's really petty and dramatic.
That is funny.
That's
yes, good. Petty. That's the word I'm looking for.
That is that's the level of petty I'm looking for in a
I just love my debates with a little bit of bitterness, you know, in the back of the throat. The little
and
taste,
all of those years of just those little, you know, those little picks, pokes, and prods.
Yeah, the years of unacknowledged, right? The unspoken beef that emerges in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the undercooked beef.
Yeah.
Undercooked beef. Let's cook this beef right now.
Then
hash it out.
That cooking, you know, we got to work on it. You know, you just like
this beef is going to go bad. We don't cook it.
Oh my God, man, it's awful.
We had some interesting cooking. Was that last night that we went to that Greek place? Yeah, it was last night, right?
Oh yeah, that was a good time.
Ed ordered like this crazy pasta dish that tasted like Christmas.
I already can't remember the name of it.
It looked like pistachio.
I hesitant to even say
it. Like Christmas.
The word looked like pistachio on the menu.
Spatini? I can't remember. Shit. It was like, okay, so basically you think of like, it's like a I'm gonna get shit from the Greeks for saying this. So it's like a deconstructed beefaroni.
Yeah, it was layered.
It's got a layer of noodles on the bottom, and I feel like there's like cheese or something holding them together. I don't know. And then there's like a layer of meat, and then bechamel, and then like some kind of sauce poured over the top. It's really good.
Yeah, it sounds amazing actually.
It was great. Yeah,
and I'm actually like kind of like weirded out by the fact that you ate something with like meat in it. Like, dude, you can't eat meat. That's like bad for you and bad for me. And it's also really like it just says a lot that you don't care about our environment.
Listen, I was looking at that menu. I don't think the Greeks serve avocado toast. It's not an option.
I don't think the Greeks serve avocado toast.
I don't think they do.
I don't think it's something they eat.
If Andrew's curious, there's the picture of the
Oh, that's way too close. That took like
high resolution.
That's it.
The picture was like right up there. Like
that was it.
That is a close photo. What the heck?
It had a very bizarre flavor.
It looks really good.
It tasted not like Italian food, even though it looks like it.
It was like Christmas. What does that mean?
It was less savory than I expected. It had like a nutmeggy kind of flavor.
Yeah, it was almost sweet.
Yeah.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, it's interesting.
That is really interesting.
Well, Andrew, we were thinking about you because the reason why we even met up to go out to dinner was because right after that we went to see the Christmas lights display in Naples.
We did.
We did our version of the sexy reindeer drive.
That's right.
Unfortunately, there were very little bikinis in sight.
Dude.
It was definitely a less sexy experience.
Yeah, but it was still fun.
That's so weird because we went to our thing thinking about you guys. And we really thought really hard about you guys, really hard. Every time we saw.
How hard?
Really hard.
I can leave if you guys want some alone time. I can close my camera. It's okay.
I can close my camera. That doesn't mean you're gone.
You just turn around your camera.
I mean, and my mic. I was gonna say that.
Amazing.
I was gonna turn my
cover your mic. Turn around.
I think the lights. They're like if you're in Charlotte, if you're in North Carolina, Charlotte area, it's like. The cool Christmas lights it's all about the neighborhoods. It's all about driving through these like
that's what it is in Naples.
It's
amen.
Whereas like I don't know. There's parts like downtown that are you can tell they're trying, but it's totally like I think so. Me and Jack have been trying to figure out what the fuck happened. Like these like little cities that are like not New York City and like not San Francisco. What happened? Like why aren't they trying? And it's like they're all missing something.
Like they're not trying hard enough with decorations.
Just with anything. Like there's not like for example, like in Charlotte, like I'll give you an example. Like downtown's been shut down insofar as like businesses haven't come back since like basically COVID.
Okay.
Like
really? Wow.
Why? We don't know. It's like it doesn't make sense. Like New York City made it back. San Francisco is basically back. How does that work in Charlotte? Like it doesn't make it back? What? Like that doesn't make any sense unless there's like they just don't care.
So that's weird. Is there just a bunch of like closed storefront type things?
Yeah, just a lot of that. Yeah.
Closed businesses? Huh.
And you research it and they're like, yep, closed because of COVID, closed because of COVID, closed because of COVID. It's like, this is Charlotte. This is not New York City. Like, Charlotte didn't shut down as well. It did shut down, but it didn't shut down as bad.
Do you know if they're are they preventing businesses from opening, or is it more people are not interested in reopening because of economic?
It's something closer to the latter. It's more like they just aren't doing it. It's not like they can't. Which is just weird. And so we thought about it more. And then we realized, you know what? Maybe it's just a resources thing. Maybe just like the supply chain shit just like affected smaller up and coming cities more. And that's why these like other bigger cities just had the resources to like make it back or something. But like, it is pretty weird being in like a city that's like more conservative than like some of the major cities that got shut down. Like, it made it back less.
Right.
That doesn't make sense, but it is how it is. So it's just a weird thing we noticed. And so we felt that way about like the lights, that like the speedway lights. We were like, they're not even fucking trying. Like, it's like it's missing something. Like, let's just take a fucking NASCAR speedway and just like dress a bunch of lights around it. And then
I bet actually
it doesn't work. Yeah,
you could test that theory by just looking at videos of that same show like a decade ago. Or like even 5 years ago.
I'd be curious to see that because
really, maybe it was good. Maybe it was really big. And
maybe crazy. It was because like honestly, my biggest issue when I was looking at the photos from the speedway was how sparse the lights were. I like there was a ton of space in between everything.
That's exactly right. I thought the exact same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like there could have been way more. It could have been so much cooler.
And it could have been less porny.
Yeah.
It could have been more like
Yeah, did they really have to clickbait people to get in there now? Like, is that where we're at?
Clickbait.
We're doing the YouTube thumbnail like meta from the 2010s. Like, okay.
So weird.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's so weird.
I remember that era.
Looking back at it now, like
so many celebrities and boobs and thumbnails. It was absurd.
That was a bad time.
Every video was special though. You know, it was a big event. And now we're at absolute content overload. Like, okay. And now we don't even know if the images we're looking at are even real or generated by people at all.
That's an interesting thing too. Just like AI, like just making like because all you need is really like a click. Like you don't like you get. I'm pretty sure most of the monetization systems in social media are like, which like YouTube is like a form of social media at this point. I feel like most of the attention economy is clicks. It's not really like retention because like at this point you can generate new attention like through bots and AI and stuff like that. And so
even though I think
you can dilute the economy.
YouTube just wrote into their policy that they're not allowing AI generated content on the platform, I'm pretty sure. So there's like a lot of like those kind of like click farmy channels you see. They're like it's stuff that you would like Google normally and look up an article like how do I do this with this plant or this or that. There's a lot of like AI generated stuff popping up.
Interesting.
So they robot voice type.
Did they really take a hard stance?
Okay, that's cool.
On that of zero tolerance on.
I think like they specifically we're saying that AI produced content that's there just to get clicks in the search engine is not okay.
AI could be part of the creative process.
Yeah, it can be part of the creative process, but they don't want AIs actively trying to earn revenue for people. Just stand alone, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes sense. Because on TikTok you have to label. You have there's like a checkbox. It's like this contains AI generated content.
Right.
And the only warning there is like, well, some content may be eligible to be taken down if it's not properly tagged as like AI, which I'm assuming is only the case if it's like, yeah, a human wasn't really involved at all in this process, and this is just content farm.
I wonder how
stuff. How do you confirm that?
Yeah, how does it detect? So if someone says no, that's interesting. I wonder.
I think it has to do with like auto-generated voices and stuff like that too. Because even before the whole AI thing, people would do, I don't know what they were doing, but they'd always do like these videos that weren't their voice and they were just information. I feel like a lot of times they were out of like India, these videos, like, and there'd be channels that just have hundreds of them, and they would actually get views because they're just like basic questions that you would search into Google being answered. But they specifically in their repetitious content policy were like, no, it's like if the voice is robot generated, it's done. Like you can't monetize it. You have to. There has to be a personality behind every channel. It's weird.
Interesting.
I wonder how I wonder how that's like. I wonder if it even is automated, like to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, I don't know if it's automated or not, because I feel like people say their channels will randomly get flagged for it, and it makes me wonder if it's, I don't know if it's a reviewer or if the system just is doing its thing. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. That's cool though that they're taking a stance on it, because that's important. Yeah. That's probably the biggest thing right now, is just like companies willing to take a stance.
And a pretty firm one at that. I was kind of surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, TikTok is definitely not fully against it, because they have like entire trends that they promote, like the CapCut edits. I made one recently with like the Pokemon Go loading screens using the CapCut like auto gen fill, where it's like starts off at a photo and it zooms out and fills in the rest with AI, and it's like timed to music, and it was a big thing, and there's tons of videos that have millions of views with that.
That's funny.
And they promote it, so it's like they're not against all AI content, but even that, I mean, at least that involves a human, choosing the photos.
TikTok is just in a way just so much its own thing. Like the pacing on there, the format. I mean, the fact that they inherently encourage you to like use other people's content to generate your own, that is totally unique to TikTok, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they encourage you to take somebody else's stuff, make your own thing with it. Like that's unheard of.
Yeah.
It was so funny seeing people on Reddit freaking out about that. Like they hated that about TikTok initially, but it's the essence of it. So it's fun.
It's like one of my
favorite it's true
things about TikTok now is like those duos are like so fun. Like
the duets,
duets, yeah. It's so good. It's such a great form of content. It does require some level of like improvisation.
Yeah, when it's done well, it's very clearly like, someone is applying skill or like a creative idea to the stealing of content. Like as long as it's recontextualized enough. Mm-hmm. The things that are like worth criticizing are the same things that the streamer drama of like someone does a duet and they're just like watching a video
just and it's just like flat expression,
or they're going like,
I've seen many of those, and those are in
like
my mind,
that kind of stuff. There's a lot
in my mind. Those are a little more acceptable if it's like a celebrity reacting to something that the person thought would never see it, basically. Right. Because then the celebrity's just sitting there like judging them. I always think that's kind of funny.
It's just funny to like, because like when you think about reacting to a video, you would want to like watch someone experience the emotional arc of the content or a shock or something. But when it's like literally the only emotion is, I agree with this.
Yeah.
It
adds no.
I agree. Whatsoever. It's like, why? Like just put like a thumbs up emoji over their face. Just like, all right.
Do you see a lot of people do that?
Like just not recently.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like I don't see.
I don't even see duets that much anymore, to be honest. But
I do feel like I've seen some. You're saying though, Gabe, and like,
or it's
like just say something. Like, just say a word. It's always quiet. It's always like really. It's like they're not saying.
And if it's not a duet, it's like a green screen of them in the corner pointing at stuff.
Yep.
That's also pretty common.
What is? I actually don't even know the difference between a duet and a stitch. Like, what is the actual difference between them?
Stitches are kind of a crazy concept, because that literally is like, it's literally piggybacking on the strongest part of any video, which is like the first 5 seconds. So a stitch basically lets you steal the first 5 seconds of someone's video, and then it cuts to your reaction full screen.
Got it. So that's like, I feel like I see a lot of people do commentary stuff with stitches.
Yeah. And usually, I think it's supposed to be used for like, because a lot of videos start with like a question. Like, what is it? Blah, 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 and then someone will stitch the question, and then they'll do a response to that.
Got question. It. So it's more of a linear edit than it is a side-by-side video window. Got it.
It's a powerful tool because like the hardest part of any video and the most important part is the beginning. So like, if you could borrow the momentum of a strong intro and stitch that, I mean that's.
And then also bring something interesting to the table. Like that's
you
cool.
still have to deliver something, but.
One of my favorite features of TikTok is being able to respond to comments with video. That has produced some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. Just like these people leaving these goofy ass comments. They're like, "You look like this specific character from this thing," and then they'll be side by side with it green screen, like because they know it's accurate and it's so fucking funny.
I've seen a lot of good ones. I love it. You can also use those videos as hyperlinks to other videos if you do it in a clever way, like. Because I think a lot of people do it and they'll just leave the comment, it'll be overlaid the whole time. But you can control when the comment pops up in the video. So I'll edit an entire video that is like a sequel to another one. And then I'll just post that video as a video comment response to one of my own comments that's saying, click here to watch the other video. And that shows up at the end.
Got it.
So that people can be they click on the comment because it'll always bring you back to the other video.
Right.
It's a little life hack for you.
Interesting.
Little TikTok cheat. I don't know how much.
I wouldn't have known.
You don't get any data on like how many people actually did that, but it's useful. I think.
I'm kind of surprised they don't give you analytics for that kind of stuff.
That's fair. No, I mean because TikTok just treats any post as a whole video. I think you can post comments as a post. Like you can. There's some new like post feature on there now that is really. I don't understand it how it works, but like Letterboxd is a post. It's like you posted your video, or it takes your comment and a video that you commented on, and it makes a post out of that, and it just shrinks it.
I think I've seen a few of those, yeah.
And I'm like, I okay, sure. I guess that's something people might use.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a weird platform, and everybody copies it, so they must be doing something right. It's like YouTube has like fully pivoted to trying to just do as much stuff that TikTok is doing as possible, including I don't know if you're getting this. I'm getting a ton of TikTok shop videos, like nonstop.
Shop videos. I don't know if I'm getting those or not. Actually,
they're not always
just like commercials for items. That kind of thing?
They're not always obvious, but you'll see the link to a purchasable item that you can buy directly on a video. Like, because TikTok has a whole like marketplace. Like Halloween, I'm sure somebody watching this probably saw like ads for. There was like pants and a shirt that were like pumpkins, and I saw people making tons of videos like, yeah, this is only $5, and like, but the video wouldn't look like an ad at first.
Right. So it's like is the ones that say eligible for commission on the bottom. Yeah, I definitely get some of those. Yeah.
And now what's happening is I'm getting emails from YouTube that's like, you're invited to this special seminar where we're going to educate you on our new shop like link. Like you could get people to buy products like without leaving YouTube, like directly from a short. It's
that's
like,
that's the same.
You mean what TikTok was just doing like a couple weeks ago? Okay, yeah, you guys don't have any original ideas.
Just what I want to do. I'm going to sell people garbage from Temu.
The idea is basically, you ever heard of TikTok? We're going to do that.
Literally,
and all the investors are like, money,
do it, do it. They're doing it. Go. Do it. And they're trying to move so fast, and I can tell because the quality of the emails is like very sketchy too. Like someone banged us out real quick.
Internally, YouTube is like using AI to generate. No content. Yeah.
On that note, have you guys bought anything from Temu or Wish?
I don't think I've ever bought anything. Emily has, I know. You could get Emily in here.
I personally haven't. I was just curious if you guys had, because I always get ads for that kind of stuff on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
lots of Temu, lots of Wish.
Most of my ads at this point are just
another one too. I can't remember the other one.
Most of the ads I get on TikTok are just like powders. just like
powders.
What kind of powders?
Just girls in like way too tight clothing trying to sell like pre-workouts and shit.
Oh, like protein,
protein
shake
powder. I was like,
yeah, because you're using
powder?
pre-workout. Like, sure, like you're going to the gym, and yeah, sure you are. Like,
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you're just
going to twerk out.
Basically. Yeah, I love the idea that like, man, I have so many opinions about that. That's such a broken, like the Twitch, like Kick, like hot tub pool streaming thing. That's so fucked, dude.
I don't know if you saw the news, Andrew, about the artistic nudity policy on Twitch, where they're basically saying like, we're not gonna crack down on this. Like, it's just
really?
It makes so much money, and like most girls don't even like that it's like that because it paints a false image of what like women do when they play games. So it's like, like we're not like I play games with Jackie all the fucking time. Y'all think she's wearing nothing the whole time? No.
And some of the streams aren't even like game focused at all. Like the one that caused like
sorry.
And it really kind of pushes out the competition who are wearing clothing.
Yeah,
because what everybody's clicking on.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, that would suck to be a female streamer in that climate, trying to like actually be like a streamer and like get just normal, like just be entertaining.
And then with the kind of audience the nude streamers would attract.
Play games and stream. And, like,
people just want to play games normally. Would be getting harassed all the time. They're like, why don't you take your clothes off? Everybody else does it.
Yeah.
So it'd just be fun.
No, I mean the pressure to do that, especially when it's like, oh, we're allowed to do that, and there's not a risk of getting banned anymore. Like, yeah, this is what a good decision, Twitch. Have fun with the climate that you're encouraging. But they're worried because there's other platforms now. I mean, TikTok's not really a competitor to Twitch, but like Kick is a thing. I know there's a couple other places. So they're just worried about. Twitch has never really made money either. They've been losing money for a long time. So they're just a little worried.
In general, the crowd that live streaming sites attracts just kind of bothers me. I remember even just seeing those streams with that guy like Ice Poseidon or whatever. He'd go around in public and everybody.
Where is he now?
I have no idea.
Is he alive? It's like we don't know.
I have no fucking idea. But
I think I'm gonna look up see if I recognize him. I know that name for sure.
He would like walk around in public, but the people in the comment section would just like they call every business within the area. And just get him in huge fucking trouble. And I hate that kind of shit so much. That's already like something that stresses me out, and then to see somebody put themselves in that kind of situation.
That's been an issue with Kick streamers because I think Twitch kind of cracked down on that kind of live stuff, or at least it can be very difficult to like do that safely without violating.
That's what I mean. Like you can get like the SWAT team type shit going, and then they'll call businesses and be like, "This guy's gonna bomb like." Entrance to your restaurant.
But on the new platforms like Kick, a lot of streamers are using that to do that kind of stuff. It like, especially in Japan, there has been a few that have gotten into like a lot of trouble, harassing people in public and getting the Yakuza involved.
I remember seeing clips from that.
I had this like big following on Twitch, like, and I was like doing really well, and like people started. I had to stop doing it because I was getting really famous, and so I stopped. I'm never doing it again.
Is this your flex of the week?
Hey, Andrew,
I decided to help out with the podcast, which is really just me being really late and then having hot takes. And I don't know if I'm gonna do much else. I just like coding, so I'm probably just gonna keep doing that. But it's like what it is. It's like that kind of type shit.
You gotta have your main hustle, and then you gotta have your side hustle. But Andrew, that's very noble of you to turn away the fame. That's not easy to do.
It was a lot. No, like Taylor Swift and like Drake and like it was hard.
Saying celebrities with no context, like. You were reacting to their content, hanging out with them?
Just say their name.
Steve Jobs. I use his products.
Wait a sec. You can't really say Steve Jobs.
Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. They're all part of my content because I edit on Windows and Mac.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
It's like people back in the day on YouTube, what they would always put like a thank you at the end of the video to Windows Movie Maker. Like, and thank you, Microsoft, for making Windows Movie Maker.
It's such a Rocco Bodie move.
Oh, 100%.
Those old days are some of my favorite memories of like YouTube maturing into like a platform and like people just like putting the weirdest shit on there.
I just remember the blue screen from Windows Movie Maker with the text and then Evanescence playing in the background.
Bandicam.
It was always Evanescence. Yeah.
It was Evanescence and then that other band called like Sound System 009 or whatever in the fucking audio swap section. It's like all anybody
I'm sure if I heard it, I'd recognize it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've lost some of the innocence of those days. As most things go, you know, things just get heavily commodified and like
gosh, yeah. When I think about
systematic.
When I think about YouTube back then compared to now, it was the dark ages. There's so much content out there now and like so many, I don't know, like high quality projects people are doing. And back then it was just like random people just uploading shit from their bedrooms.
Yeah. And that's kind of, I think, why TikTok got popular. And maybe we talked about this already, but like, because YouTube has been high quality for a while now. Like it's been like a threatening platform to like normal streaming because people are like, well, okay, I can get all my niche interest content like in excess forever. I don't ever need to like necessarily even watch a movie. If you really just want to watch video game documentaries and like, or even like film essays and things like that, those were so popular.
Oh yeah,
for a while, and got very
video essays,
and got very polished, like very good quality people, like people spending a lot of time. But I think that reached like a point where TikTok was refreshing because it wasn't that polished. Like it showed up and it was like, oh, we're going back to like kid in their room uploaded video.
Yeah.
Ranting. And so it was kind of fun for that, I think.
I have to use the bathroom real quick.
Okay. Yep, go for it.
We have a strict no pooping policy on this podcast.
If you're gonna poop, you have to do it.
Why I was gonna pee.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
He knows the loopholes.
So I'm gonna pee out of my butt. I'll be right back.
What a lucky guy.
No. Andrew, did you turn off your camera so you could like piss in a cup?
Yeah.
I was gonna say you don't have to turn your camera off because you know this is on Twitch and Twitch allows that now. It's artistic,
artful pissing.
Artful pissing.
No, I had respect for all the people that used to follow me back before when I was like up there on Twitch with like Drake and like T Swift and like I didn't want to freak him out like with my piss again, which is how I got banned. So I didn't want that to happen again.
That's wise.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, it's just like old shit, you know, coming back. It's okay.
No, you're smart for that.
Yeah, I'm really smart. The worst people are people that think they're smart. I fucking hate that.
Yeah.
My favorite people are people that think they're kind of dumb in life. Like so far, I don't mean this as a pattern. I don't seek out people that call themselves dumb. But dude, people that are like they kind of say they're kind of like expressive that they are like not that smart. Those people are so fucking funny. It's true. Everybody that I'm doing this filter on everyone I've ever met. It's like this is people who've told me they're smart are so fucking annoying. They end up being really
absolutely
annoying.
True.
And people who admit being kind of dumb, they always end up being really funny. No, vote for me.
Hey, get that self-deprecation going.
Yeah,
you can take a joke.
Vote for me. Make America dumber. We'll all have a better. We'll have a better.
I remember how I started talking.
We'll all be done together. It'll be great.
I don't remember how I got on this topic, but I do know that I mean it.
Yeah, as long as you know that you mean it, as long as you believe in your own convictions.
Yeah,
I think acknowledging that you're ignorant about stuff is so freeing because then you can just be really honest, and then and then you can actually talk and have conversations with people because you should assume you don't know anything, and like that's what makes talking to someone else interesting. It's like, what does this person know, huh?
The transfer of information.
Yeah. Like sometimes,
you kind of like have to be dumb, and you have to admit it, and then lean into it.
Like Emily will be telling us a dream, and I'm like, "You got got like 3 brains or some shit because like there's no, I mean, by the way, I mean 3 entire brains because I'm like you're having
3 brain cells
in like the 4th dimension. I'm like, oh, it's because you don't tout being like, it's because you're thinking on that other level, like that shit. Whereas people that are like, they know they're like, oh, I know, and it's like, no, you don't.
Yeah, I know. It's like that's
you don't fucking know. You don't know how the world fucking works. You think anybody fucking knows how this fucking world works? God damn, dude. There's half the fucking population thinks we're in a simulation. God fucking damn it. You think you know how the world works? No, you don't fucking know how the world works.
Yeah, no kidding. My God.
Bro, that is my favorite thing is just that debate about the simulation shit. I think about that shit all the time. You guys remember when we were talking to Warren about that last summer? It was like
it was 4th of July, wasn't it?
That's the kind of shit that I'm like, that's the shit. That's the fucking shit. I want to know what this is.
I think about it daily, honestly.
This frame inside of I can see shit, I can hear shit, but it's also like the shit's there.
Do you have a good resource to like point to people if they wanted to like dive into the simulation debate? Because is that something that you experience through conversations, or like are there videos and like podcasts that you watch that talk about simulation theory a lot?
I think so much of it, in my opinion, if you actually want to know what I really think, is just you experiencing life and then having that epiphany. You're like, holy fuck, I'm here. Whenever that happens, if you ever feel that, you're kind of interfacing with like the layer between your brain and whatever else that shit is. That other shit you can't prove or unprove. And we don't have a word for it. That's like as close as you're gonna get to that before you die. But like,
see, I'm in the zone where I'm like, oh my God, am I here?
Yeah, I don't know. It could be a fucking dream.
Like every once in a while, I'll just sit there and like sulk over that.
I think I like Donald Hoffman for this topic.
Donald Hoffman.
I think he's I'm going to be a little bit wrong about this, but I believe he is a scientist. I don't know exactly the terminology, but I think he's like a neurological.
Okay.
Like he's more like in that space. He's interested in how like the brain works.
Yeah.
But I also think that he's also like really, really high up on the academic hierarchy.
Yeah, I pulled up his name. He's very qualified to be talking about this.
He's even like qualified with like evolution theory and stuff like that. And he's just like really, really deep in a lot of like human development and like evolution and like psychology stuff. He's like really deep in like a lot of that stuff. And he has the theory. I think people should watch the Lex Friedman.
That's a good
Hoffman podcast.
I watched.
Yeah,
watch that.
I might put that in my watch list.
It'll blow your mind.
Same, honestly.
Lex Friedman
that's like if I ever want to like think for a second, I'm like about that shit. It's that podcast. It's like it's amazing. Yeah.
I think Lex is actually a good example of what we're talking about. Like Lex is very smart, but he does not act like it, you know? Like he's a very questioning person, and you would almost think he wasn't smart just based on like his like he's kind of quiet and like very understated. And I think I don't know. I think he does that thing that we were just talking about very well, where he assumes that if he doesn't agree with someone or if he doesn't understand something, he just assumes that he doesn't know about it. And he's so like approachable.
I think he's what I would describe as a thoughtful individual.
Yes. Yeah.
Like he's gonna think through shit before he speaks, which is a very unique approach, especially on the internet.
Why would you ever think?
Man, why think?
Yeah, why think? Why think when you can spout?
Why think?
Throw out the first word that comes to your.
I usually the person that comes to mind for me in my personal life is always Emily. So I'm like, this is someone who's like on like another level, but doesn't say it. Just doesn't ever fucking say it, and I know it because she'll tell people what her dreams are, and I'm like, you're on shrooms during your dreams. 100%. There is no way you are having that dream without somehow also being on shrooms and like seeing the other side, some other fucking shit. Like you are for sure, like 100%. But
and 100% verified shroomer.
Yeah, definitely. So that's why we need to get her on here.
Gabe's just like,
what? Yeah, we probably.
I need like a negative ion discussion with like Emily and like.
She'll carry on an arc like that. I mean, I guess I'm around her all the time, so I guess I take it for granted. That's a nice candy cane.
I'm gonna suck on it.
Yeah, we need to get Emily back on here. I keep forgetting to tell her to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna be doing the podcast again, because I'm usually kind of like Andrew. I'm like, oh, we have a podcast today. I'm gonna try to do this. It's like leading up to it, and then it's like, oh, it's time. Well, yeah,
we gotta have a special guest.
Yeah,
always.
Yeah, Lex Fridman's great. I think podcasting is the next. It already is. I shouldn't say the next, but 3 years ago, I thought it was the next mainstream media, and now it is. It's like,
it seems to be. Yeah, God, there's a lot of good podcasts out there now.
Yeah, it's awesome because I watch. Actually, this is interesting about a weird thing about me that's abnormal for young people is I watch the news and I listen to podcasts.
Wait, which like TV news? Like you watch like traditional like
they post it all
classic news?
Yeah, they watch it all. They post it all on YouTube now. But I listen to podcasts and I listen to news media. And I'm gonna just be honest with you. Oh, we're fucked. Like news media is like totally news media is fucking useless. It's so much more useless than people who don't listen to it think. People who don't listen to news media and do listen to podcasts are right that podcasts are the better source of information. It's clear. But it's not just better. Like news media is straight up propaganda at this point. Like it is.
It feels very canned. Bad. Yes.
Oh my god, it's so bad. It's so much worse than it ever has been.
It was confirmed that they all
listens to both. And that's why I'm kind of like not listening to as much of it now. But it's like
somebody proved. I mean, maybe it's not even secret information or anything, but like a lot of news stations buy scripts from like a company. There's like a company that provides like templated information packages that they sell to news stations that then get fed to the anchors. Like a lot of the news stations aren't doing journalism; they're just buying a script and reading information off.
And that was made totally clear when I remember a while back somebody took like 50 different clips from like local news stations and put them all together, saying the exact same sequence of words. It was
that was a very viral clip back in the day.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's what led people to finally like dig into like, okay, what's going on here?
Like,
it doesn't mean that they don't have like a like talk show portions or like pundit style people that are like, oh, here's not the news, I'm just sharing my opinion, and like that's allegedly authentic, but like it's not really journalism anymore. Yeah, like Andrew was saying, it's more akin to propaganda than actual like news.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's
and also like, just with how selective it is, like
sponsored in a weird way because they selectively tell you what they want you to hear. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to. I remember like watching like a debate on CNN, which usually there's the table and there's like Anderson Cooper and there's all these people and I realized this debate about Israel Palestine. This is 7 minutes. This is a 7-minute long debate about Israel Palestine. 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Did they figure it out?
Figure out what to do.
Was that enough time? Did they do it?
In 7 fucking minutes. Okay. Because I listened to a podcast. It was 3 hours. And I understand Joe Rogan's like fucking way too long with this podcast. But he had Dave Smith on his podcast. Great fucking informed, sort of centrist guy. Sort of centrist. More lefty. And 3 hours of listening to Dave Smith go over a history of basically one version of the script of what is believed to have happened over the last many decades with Israel Palestine. And I was hardly moved one direction or the other. So like, and it was deep and it was like very, very important historical moments. And so 7 minutes is going to do nothing. 7 minutes doesn't do shit.
Right.
Like, people that don't listen to podcasts don't know that.
I'd be genuinely curious to know what the contents were of that 7 minutes. I want to know how it ended.
You say that, but I know you get it to the second minute of that, and your eyes are probably going to be glazing over, like,
absolutely.
All the same points before.
Glazed like a fucking donut.
Like, is it really occupants or is it not really occupants, and like stuff like that, and just and you can't figure that out in 7 minutes. Like, it's so much more.
No, hell no.
But I love seeing the public figuring it out though, because it's like sometimes as an individual you figure something out a little bit earlier than the average person, and it's not because you're smarter. It might just be because you're lucky. But it's frustrating because you're like waiting for everyone to figure that out, the same thing that you figured out, and it can take years. And I feel like this one's finally happening with mainstream. Mainstream switching.
See, Andrew, what normally happens, and the reason why America is great is if you happen to be someone that does figure out something before everybody else, you can just do it.
There you go.
You can build something out of it or do it, and be part of the solution. Educate people.
I just feel like
that's what we're doing here. We're just helping. We're helping people.
I've been drinking a lot of solution lately.
Don't do that.
What's happening is my lips are just kind of.
You shouldn't. Yeah, don't drink glue.
You gotta back up the solution.
I can't unfurrow my brow, and I can't.
That does happen.
My lips,
and I feel just like this.
I feel like it's just like AI.
Yeah, AI.
God.
What is that?
That Biden impersonator has been haunting me. He is so funny.
The whispering.
Oh my gosh!
I just keep thinking of his like the whispering, and then the opening his eyes, and then the whispering. Like he has it dialed in so well, and it's beyond even what Biden really does. Like,
yeah,
it's beyond.
No, it is. It's exaggerated, but it's
mutated into a new character, and I love the new character. I love that. If Biden really talked like that all the time, I would watch him on the news.
New York, better city. I used to work in the chimney. like opening his eyes.
He's still working.
Guys, new Schmork and Liddy. So good. He's so good. Who's that guy? Who's that comedian on TikTok that's like, there's always the way. Actually, what I just did there by accident is a pretty good impression of it. Where he's like, hey guys, this is good. Yeah, this is good. All
yes.
Right, let's wait for John.
Oh, the tech CEO.
After the New Year. That's like a whole meeting. I love that guy.
He is so good.
His name, though.
I don't know his name either. But I posted that clip to our group chat the other day. I don't know if Ed saw that, but
that's
that guy. He's got it dialed in so well. And I don't know people like that necessarily, but I assume they're real.
They are real.
It feels real.
I work with them.
Okay.
Very real. I'm such a dick at work. I literally, you know how many times
confessional time?
I've been in a meeting with like 5 engineers, 2 product group people, a manager, and halfway through I'm just like, can we stop? Like, I don't think we actually need to have this meeting.
Oh, you say really?
Like, I'll just be like, to be honest, like I think we've gone over everything. It's all in the doc. Like, everyone's contributing to the doc. Like, maybe we just take care of it there. So we just get people 15 minutes back. Like, can we just leave? Like, I do that, and it works every fucking time.
That's awesome.
That is
every
funny.
time.
Oh,
and no one's
actual hero.
No one's called me out on it. All my engineering buddies are like, "Thank you." It's like it works every time. It really works every single time.
Valuable time I'm using elsewhere.
Here's how you start it though. You have to start with words like, "In the interest of time."
Oh, but you're good. Yeah, okay.
You have to, like, if you don't do that, people are like, "You trying to get out of meetings, bro?"
The art of escaping a meeting.
I like the sniff to start it there.
But you have to be sensitive though, because for some people, attending that meeting is their whole workday, and that's how they feel productive. So if you take that away from them, they're gonna be like, "Wait, we ended that meeting early. Like, what am I gonna do?"
Get away from them. Don't take that away from them.
Don't take it away. That's them feeling like they did something that day.
This is my value. This is what makes me feel needed.
So like
they showed up for it. That's half the work.
I'm such an abnormal guy working a sort of abnormal job, but like I feel like it's a normal type of job though. It's at a corporation, and I feel like man, it's so. But I'm such an abnormal dude for those people, and it's like it's so fun, like showing them like I'm never gonna be like you. I'm never. you're always, as long as I don't fucking quit or get fired, you're always gonna have to.
Yeah. Well, if you're still doing your job and nobody has any complaints about the what's being produced, then it's like, okay, yeah, what are they gonna say?
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where people in meetings with me will be like, they'll just start with, "Oh no," as soon as I fucking join.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
It's just there's just one. Actually, I'm exaggerating. There's one person that frequently does that though, because he's realized that like it's not because I'm great. It's just I don't like the meetings. Like if they don't have to be there.
I'm just imagining you joining like a virtual meeting, instantly being like, "All right, stop. We don't need this shit. Everybody out." You just like take over.
I always give it a few minutes, but if
give it a few minutes, yeah. See what they're
if
talking about.
If it turns into some, if people are arguing, I don't stop anything. But
yeah, that's
that means they care,
because that's where they need to work that out in person more than through like text or that's a mess. Mm-hmm. But like, no, you're probably a hero to many people, giving them free time back, or just
I'm trying to save America. So
keep it up. Good, what a patriot.
I'm trying to save America really hard right now. Working
good work
on one team.
Listen, I'm doing my part. I am midway through an edit ranking all the new Elite Four members in the Pokemon DLC in an entertaining way, and I think that's gonna probably save at least 3 lives, which is why I'm doing it, to save lives.
You do that toxic improvement thing. Be like, well, could it be 4?
Could it be toxic improvement?
I love that. That is hilarious. I've never.
That's how I should be thinking. You're right. I should be thinking that it's never good enough. You could always be doing more. I call that. Yeah, that's. I should pull a Schindler's List with my content. I could have done more.
That would be a funny episode, or like that'd be a really funny like TikTok for you to make, is like that you're like recapping 2023 and you're like, I just feel like it's been amazing, and all of you, I do this with you guys and for you guys, it's been amazing. I just know we could have saved more lives. you like go through reels of your content and you're like, for example, maybe with and like just
I feel like isn't that kind of what like charity YouTubers and stuff, like at the end of the day, if they could say that honestly, they would, right?
Yeah,
because like you do that indirectly by like Mr. Beast is like, okay, I'm making millions of dollars each video, I should probably donate some of this, and like I get, maybe it's for taxes or whatever, but like they'll do charity stuff like I'm gonna build wells or I'm gonna heal blindness, because it's like you're helping people. But like if you could just skip right to the saving lives, like that's the best human service you can do. But that's tricky, because like there's not that many people that are like directly being under the threat of death in a way that you could be the person that saves them.
Dude, I'm just waiting for the Mr. Beast video. I'm just waiting for the one where he's like, I busted the world's biggest pedophile ring.
Yeah. Oh my God. Imagine.
Can you imagine though?
That would be
fucking crazy.
That would be insane. No, I think that might be the next meta for him, because his charity videos are getting like bigger and bigger, and so he really needs to just start like busting drug rings and human trafficking and stuff. That would be
there. You go. That would be lit. Like honestly, if he's looking for a way to one up his previous videos.
Yeah, and who's gonna fight him on that? Like, oh, he did it for views. Yeah, he risked his life.
I mean, probably the pedos, but
there's always somebody.
There's always somebody.
Yeah.
I'm always surprised so much shit Mr. Beast gets, and I'm like, I wonder if it's like Israel Palestine. Bear with me.
The comparison of the century. Please go on.
Bear with me for a second.
Okay, please.
Israel Palestine, pro-Israel. You have your points. You're dying on that hill, and you're 100% certain. Pro-Palestine, same thing. You're 100% certain. You know exactly what we should do. People who are against the high voice. people who are against Mr. Beast are like really fucking certain they will die on the hill that the amount of money he doesn't give to himself that he earns. Capitalism is capitalism, but he is earning it. It is somehow not enough. It's somehow not enough. People who are for Mr. Beast are right. They're completely right.
Damn. Oh, I love a nice.
And I'm not going to tell you which one is Palestine and which one is Israel.
Interesting.
I can see why people who are in favor of the way Mr. Beast runs his business are maybe a little bit wrong. Like, yeah, he does. He makes a fuck ton of money. It's actually unfucking
right, which is how he can also make more videos like that, helping people. But it's like people take issue with just the fact that it's monetized at all, and it's like, well, charity should always be done in private or whatever, like something like that. And like that would be in like a ideal scenario, like that would be
the brand itself wasn't dependent on the publicity itself.
But that's why context.
That's the whole reason the fundraising is happening.
That's why context is so important, because it's like, that would be true for most people, but you're talking about Mr. Beast, where like everything he does is public, and even if he didn't make that public, like it would just come out and people would accuse it of being public.
Nobody would have said anything to him if he wouldn't have even done philanthropy.
Right.
It would have.
And if he's going through the effort to set all that up anyway, and he could arguably draw much more attention to it by making an entertaining video, like, isn't that the better scenario anyway? It's like he's generating more revenue, which, okay, maybe that's bad if he's keeping all out of it. But it's like, so far, so what do you do at that point? Okay, look at his track record. Oh, he's done a lot of those, and he seems to keep making more. So it's like, I don't see a risk of these being misappropriated unless somebody can come up, maybe we'll get a Mr. Beast leak from an accountant that's like, yeah, he was stealing all of it. Yeah, those charities never got anything. But like, so far, it seems like it's
it'd be one thing if it was an outright scam or something like that. But the fact is, he could have just never done philanthropy at all.
And like, if you think his videos are cheesy,
those viral videos, like he could have just stuck to like the what do you call it? I'm trying to think of the name. The Squid Games thing. He could have done. Right. He could do anything along those lines and easily just make a profit. But
and it's fine to hate his videos. I mean, you can be annoyed by his voice and his face, but like, that's fine. You don't have to watch him.
Good old Jimmy.
You don't have to watch him. It's bizarre. But like, if you were to like abstract all the details away and like analyze it, like it would be hard to say like, oh yeah, is it pure? Yeah. He is doing it for views, and like even he says himself, even if he doesn't care about money, he is just trying to make videos that get the most amount of views possible. So like he's not in it to have the most successful charity ever. He's still trying to make entertaining videos. So it's like, is that immoral that he's mixing charity with that?
I would,
because he's not only focused on the charity.
I would just challenge anybody to like take the position and be like, it's not. The first thing I would say is like, first get good at imagining what it takes to be that, and then after about 50 years of you failing to do that, then let me know what your opinion is. Because like, you don't even know how to do what he's doing. You don't even know how to do half of what he's fucking doing. You have a fucking opinion about it, like,
and he shares.
I would say if it was like, if he was involved with like some cartel shit, or if he was involved in politics, or if something like really nefarious, it'd be kind of like, yeah, it's weird.
Yeah,
but, as long as it's in this messy middle, I kind of feel like that in order to make a statement accurately about something that is right on the gray line, I would just be like, you're gonna have to know how he does it first to be able to say anything about it. Because if it's really that subtle, if the evil is really that subtle, you're not gonna figure out what it is unless you can actually do it yourself. That's actually how that works. Like, it's even how it works at a criminal investigation level. Like, people like studied serial killers and shit like that to be able to catch them early. It's like, okay, so if you think that this really, really subtle evil of making a lot of money and giving like more than half of it away is somehow not enough, I feel like you'd have to be able to do the same thing and figure it out, Otherwise, you're not really proving anything.
And he shares his stuff all the time. Like he tells people like, this is my strategy. This is how like he goes on podcasts and he just tells people how he got to where he was. And it's like, oh, the secret is he just worked really hard and he was persistent.
I mean, if anything,
like that.
He makes so many.
If anything, you could reach for like a theory that Mr. Beast isn't like Mr. Beast anymore, and he's been undercut by corporations or something like that. But it's so funny because they all focus so specifically on Jimmy himself. Because I feel like it's to the point now where the whole Mr. Beast thing is even bigger than just him. You know?
Yeah.
Because like I'd understand if somebody would take that approach, maybe, where they're like, oh, okay, it feels like less personal, more corporate, you know.
Yeah,
but even so, I mean, it's I don't know.
That would be a fair point. Yeah, that's a fair point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They'd be like, "Oh, have the elites taken over Jimmy?" Or I don't know.
Yeah,
some crazy conspiracy.
No, I mean, and I guess that's the gray area, and why Andrew, you know, I hate to say it, but you're right. Israel-Palestine comparison right there with Jimmy, Jimmy's intent. You know, what is he really? You know, what's his motive? Because really. If we knew what was in his head, you could judge the purity of his intent. But like, it's a complicated thing, and anyone that tries to simplify it is actually wrong.
It feels like you could apply this to so many things. Like, think about like how many like problems do people think they know? Like, joking aside with this Israel-Palestine thing, because to be truthful, I really don't have that strong of an opinion about it because it is so goddamn complicated. But like. That's my opinion, is that it's really fucking complicated. But,
that's a safe answer, I feel like.
I would say that's my opinion too.
Yeah, mostly. By the way, I feel okay. Here's actually an interesting thing. Okay, so like people who are actually in control of what should happen regarding Israel-Palestine are world leaders. World leaders always make the best decisions for their country and for their allies based on diplomacy. Not based on what's nicest, not based on what's highest in ethics, not based on even what's highest in profit. It's based on diplomacy. So that's, if anybody really wants to think about, you know, how does it, like, that's kind of like people who are running businesses do the same thing. They don't always do the best decision based on what's most profitable and what's most right or what's highest in ethics. They always make the decision based on diplomacy between their own businesses that they're partnered with, their network at large, almost always before any numbers come into the equation. And then you're convincing investors if you have investors. So I feel like it's really like weird. People just throw that all out the window with like private sector stuff because they just are poor, which like most people in the West are poor, because to be like not poor, you have to be making a fuck ton of money in the West in 2023. But like, yeah, I think people just take the fact that they don't have money and then convert that into why I don't have money. And it's like, that's not how that works. Like there are painful reasons why people have more money, but it doesn't mean that they're doing it for the money. Lots of times they're making a lot of money because they're doing diplomatic decisions for themselves. And it is selfish, but that's part of like just understanding why it works is the first step, you know? Yeah. And then you can get into to the ethics of it. But like, you have to understand how it works first. And that's my biggest issue with people looking at like what you think Mr. Beast should fucking do, or what you think Destiny should do, because like this shit with him and Melina, and then like what?
Oh yeah, I just saw about that.
Yeah, like everyone has an opinion.
I'm out of the loop on that.
Everyone has a fucking opinion. You know what I'm saying? So it's just it's just
yeah. Well, it feels good to be able to blame something or just make something a moral issue, because if you can just distance yourself or elevate yourself above an issue, it's like, I know what's right and wrong, or yeah, it'll make you feel better about your situation. So it's a lot of projection and other normal human reactions to things, which like, I mean, I don't think Jimmy even complains about it. I think he knows that he's putting himself in a position where it's like, yeah, you're going to be the target of a lot of hate because you're just a public figure and you've built your brand on like big clickbaity, like you deliver on clickbait. So it's not clickbait in a bad sense, but like,
right, which is another funny thing.
Yeah, he is part of the like
delivering on clickbait.
He's still leaning into the thing that you could argue is like maybe setting a bad example, I guess, where it's like, oh, everybody's copying him and everybody's trying to like do big like wealth flexes, which like aren't. It's like not even how like rich people even live. Like most rich people don't do anything like that. It's only like a select few of like celebrities that might own like 2 garages and like 40 cars or whatever. Giant mansions. Like most people that are really rich they're like shockingly they don't spend that much money,
They keep
and that's how they're rich.
And that's how they're
rich.
rich.
Reason why they're that's right. There's a reason why
the rich people are. There might be a rich person right next to you, and you don't even know.
They got that generational wealth.
So like, yeah, like you could make a statement that like Mr. Beast is part of that problem of like the wealth flex culture, but also, I mean, that's just again just human nature.
That's a good point.
You're just you're attracted to. You're going to click on big crazy thing. I don't have that.
Yeah,
that's how many cars?
Kind of goes back to
how many houses?
Earlier point about like him changing. It's like, yeah, it could be that. It could be the flexing. It could be, it could be anything. But, I like big content muscle. Like I like, yeah, like I like that. Like I want to see that thumbnail. I want that brain,
Hey, why not?
And then I want to be let down because I realize it's like it's not quite the thumbnail, but that's okay because that's the game. That's the fucking game. Yep. Although I will say he usually delivers on that. Whatever his clickbait is, it usually ends up like actually being that. And I'm like, oh,
he's been doing a lot.
Even back when he was just filling his backyard with 1 million Orbeez. We all remember that phase of Mr. Beast.
Oh yeah. No, I remember him dumping like $3,000 worth of pennies on someone's lawn, and that was I don't know how much money it actually was.
Was that his millionth subscriber video or something like that?
Yeah, it might have been. I don't remember.
Weird.
But
I'd be curious if he's done any of these things on debt. Like, did he ever leverage any of his videos? I'd be very curious.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm trying to imagine like a financed Mr. Beast model. I bet you there's some YouTubers.
He probably has had to sometimes, yeah. But he always talks about how he dumps most of his profit back into videos. So I mean,
I remember hearing him say
he might just scale his idea in accordance with whatever is available. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
He's also doing a lot of like more game show style stuff. Like there's like these challenge rooms with mazes and like that's. He's definitely trying other things out because he is going to hit some kind of upper limit or threshold.
Yeah.
And I wonder when or what that's going to be or how he's going to handle that.
Busting the world's biggest pen.
Because he is kind of like, he is sort of the mascot of like the capitalistic idea of just like, how can I just make number go up bigger? And it like, he's putting all his energy into just pure growth. Which is like, Americans love that. Just how can you just make growth happen forever? But you can't. Like it's going to stop somewhere, and then you either have to like change or sell or start new things. So like, what is that going to be for him? But he hasn't found a top yet, though. I mean, I don't think anybody thought he could go this high. So it's just kind of fun to watch. Like I can admire like the fact that like, oh, he's. Okay.
I haven't like watched his view counts lately, but I know that they always get a monumental amount, but I'm curious like if he's kind of at a plateau or if it's still going up.
I don't know. I haven't looked.
I know that his Squid Games one was like that was one of his biggest ones. People are obsessed with that video. God, how many millions of I don't remember how many. Have to look.
Easily one of my favorite YouTubers and easily one of my favorite, most debated YouTubers as well. Because I'm like, why is he such serious topics?
I know. I think most people, and even I think lately I watch his videos more just from the curiosity of like, I just think the way social media works is interesting. And I mean, obviously I stand to benefit if I can learn stuff because I do post videos too. But
it's just a phenomenon like that.
But even before I was doing my own thing, I mean, like I just liked, following trends and just seeing how, because social media is just so weird already and changes so fast. So anytime there's like a new character, you can't help but like not look away.
So his most viewed video is his Squid Games one.
Still, really?
From 2 years ago, and has 545 million views.
Holy cow. Oh my God.
Isn't that insane?
And it took Netflix so long to get their version out.
I know.
So criminal.
Oh my gosh.
Well, and that I have to watch his videos so that I can hate him. It's just so
you're the one suffering for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so he put up a new video 11 hours ago. It has 28 million views.
Jesus Christ.
And then his video from 2 weeks ago, his last video, has 125 million views.
What?
That's pretty okay. That's pretty good. That does not sound like a plateau.
That does not sound like a plateau at all. If you ask
I feel
me.
like people see that and they probably don't realize the scale of like the internet. Like Facebook has 1 billion users plus, which is crazy, and a lot of those are bots. But like, it's not like most of them are bots. Like most of them are real people because Facebook hit 1 billion a long time ago. But people don't realize that like until we're consistently getting 1 billion views per video, someone's not going to plateau. Like billion plus is when
right. There are still people that don't use
banks. Like banks hover around 1 billion plus users. So not until you get there, like you're not plateauing. So there's a little bit more to go there.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. Yeah,
that's a wild thought. Because I mean, like we were talking about earlier, there's still people that use traditional media who still just watch the news on TV. Like YouTube is still. I mean, I don't know what the user base is daily, but I'm sure there's still a large amount of people not using the internet. It's like in the way that we do.
I was going to say
there's a lot of people, and there's also new people.
Still a lot of people in even like less developed countries who just aren't even on the internet, who will never be accessible in that sense, like as an audience. So it's just even thinking about that is pretty wild.
Yeah, that is a weird thought that like they just won't ever have that, or I mean, if they do, they do, but at the current rates,
and it might just be limited,
limited, that's so weird. Why don't I think of shit like that? That's a good fucking point, because like that reminds me of like there's like Amazonian people that like are just like we're sort of protecting their land, but they still like don't have technology, right? And they like live in the forest. They're like those are like real colonies of people. They're like doing that, right? So
not as many as you would think, but there's a few.
It's so weird. It's so weird to think about, like, and then applying that to technology, because I just feel like the world is better with AI, and it's just like, we don't have enough people.
And the next podcast clip starts now.
And that's why everybody AI.
Everybody AI. Our new sponsor. That's why I love Everybody AI.
People were seeing at Coinbase, like internal, performance reviews every year that like AI is like available to like review your like performance doc to decide like, hey, maybe you can touch this up a little bit, or maybe add some numbers here. And it's the end of the year, everyone's writing their review for themselves and then submitting that to their manager. It's a corporate process. And then not so bad, but I noticed how weird it would be like, wait, we have an AI that you can use to help you like edit your own review of yourself. Are we using that to like make decisions about like where you're going to be?
No, of course not.
Like that? And it's just kind of an interesting, it's just an interesting joke going around. It's just a joke, and no one. I kind of believe it might be really doing that, but like,
I mean, it will be soon.
Makes everybody laugh. Yeah, for sure.
Eventually,
because it's very statistically accurate. Is the thing. Like AI, if there's one thing AI is good at, it's like being accurate within the bounds of knowledge that you provide it. And that is like, if you want to talk about like hiring or firing, that's basically all statistics, like all of it, and quotas and experience. It's basically it. Like AI can do that most of the time.
People are now going to hire the AIs to fire employees.
Yeah,
because they don't want to do face-to-face firings.
At least assisted fires, like like, okay, identify like a department that is like overstaffed or something.
Yeah.
And then I'll go in and I'll sift through. I think it is going to start getting used in that way. Because why not? It feels wrong. Why not? Like it just seems wrong. Like I understand we don't have sensory organs for morality, but like you should feel wrong doing that. Like, you should.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, we're only seeing the beginning of it.
Yeah.
I do wonder if we're gonna get another big like. I feel like maybe, and you guys can maybe weigh in on your own, like, because again, this is just an abstract feeling, but like the big boom of like generative AI with text and images, really crazy out of nowhere. Quality was like way above what it had been. And
yeah,
it had been around before that. Like I had been following channels on YouTube and stuff that covered like the early like baby versions of that. So I saw it like getting birthed, but then it really just like matured, I feel like, overnight.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast.
But I feel like it's been about a year of like not changing too much. Like it's gotten better, but it's like I already feel like that spike has like leveled out a little bit. And I'm wondering like, oh, is this not going to be like a linear increase? Oh, AI's, because at the time it was like, oh, AI is getting really good and it's just going to keep like getting better and better. And like, this is it. This is going to change everything. But I wonder if we're going to hit another like lull where it's like, oh, it did as much as it could with our current level of ability or whatever, however we were using it. And like, is it going to be another few years before like we get another scary bump?
I wonder
or is it gonna, or is it actually gonna like go at a linear rate? Because I'm feeling that like quieting of like, oh yeah, AI is just, yeah, it's here. It does those image things pretty good, and it can.
I guess it just depends on how much text ability they give the AI to build on itself or develop its own knowledge in a way, if that makes any sense. Because I feel like right now it still seems like it's pretty much working with what it's given, and the question is whether or not it can like develop beyond that. Yeah,
that's what I mean is like that leap was from all it really gained was the ability to really get good at referencing our knowledge.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I wonder if it
wasn't a leap forward in its own ability to learn by itself. So
right.
I feel like,
which is what I was worried was happening initially, but I don't
yeah, so like I'm wondering, like, did we see the extent of this arc? And it's like, okay, the generation based on a data set is really good. They got really good at that. But like, is it going to be a while before there's another big like development? You know?
I wonder like if it's going to be clear when it becomes creative or not, or if it'll be like a slow.
Yeah. No, you're right. It might be hard to tell, actually.
Like, I feel like it's hard to tell when like a developing person, like a young kid, is like because we have like lots of nephews and stuff. We have a big family, like me and me a huge family, and we've seen lots of like little kids turn into like bigger kids, and it's like it is kind of like hard to like. I don't have any kids, but it's hard to tell at what point did they become creative. Like, was it at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Wait, now they're drawing shit that I've never seen before. What the fuck? Like, when did it happen? You know?
Yeah.
And I think we would have to discover more about like how that works. But the other weird thing here is like, what if it is like, what if let's say that. So maybe if AI starts to seem creative, that would imply that creativity can come from just copying over and over and over and over again. But like, I don't know if that actually makes any sense because like, I don't think we have a good enough understanding of like what makes people creative. But it would be an interesting like confirmation. Like AI starts creating shit that like is not inferred. Wow, how did that happen? And then we would be like, wait, maybe that's how we do it. But we never knew that because.
Well, see, that's the weird thing too.
Yeah,
now that I think about it. Even creativity in humans is typically a reference to something else. So it's kind of like
my opinion as well.
It's like a cultural development over time where things just transform slightly as they bounce from one person to another.
Yeah.
I remember even coming to that realization for a while. I was like, I had a weird period where I was like, I feel like everything I'm creating isn't my own. It's always like some kind of reference to something else. And then I realized that that's just creativity. That's how it works.
Yeah.
You take samples of everything that you like and you culminate that into your identity.
Yeah. I think the difference with humans is because we're very multi-threaded beings. You know, we are, there's multiple like things in you influencing what you make, where even if you're trying to copy something exactly, like it's going to get colored by your flavor.
Exactly.
Or even like your own limitation, like your own, like you might try to copy a song that's way more technically advanced than you know how to like recreate. And therefore you create your own thing. You
create your own timbre. Yeah.
Because it's like you just made what you could. Yeah. And so that has your, stamp on it. Whereas an AI that is like has all the ability and there's no limitation and is purely copying and is really good at that, that's still gonna be a very different thing, unless we can simulate the imperfection, which
it's like
probably
even
isn't that hard, but like
I was watching
I don't know.
I was watching an interview with an indie artist I like. I think I've told you guys about Mac DeMarco before.
Yeah,
but he was talking
We were
about
just listening to him like today. Yeah.
Oh, nice. But
because you told us about him.
Yeah. I was watching an interview with him, and it was interesting because he was talking about how his music doesn't sound like what he wants it to sound like, and how he's trying to like model himself after some of these older artists from the 70s and 60s and stuff like that. But whenever I'm listening to his music, I'm not thinking about that at all. So it's weird how interpretation of yourself can be so skewed when he doesn't even really realize that he's creating something entirely original. And whereas I would choose to listen to Mac DeMarco, but not even necessarily the stuff
what he's trying to do. Yeah. That's
kind of a question of like who owns the creativity on perception? Is it the thing, or like is it the object or the subject?
Is it the recipient or the person doing it? It's weird.
That's so interesting. Because if it's the subject, if it's me looking at the object, then like it makes a lot of sense how creativity could come, like real true creativity could come from, it's basically just you not knowing what it was inspired by.
Really. Right. Yeah. It's kind of like
that's kind of cool. I like that. That makes sense.
And it's kind of like all people together collectively make their own AI, so to speak. I know that might sound kind of stupid and oversimplified. But
it might be like the thing though.
It's like with us sharing things peer to peer constantly, that's where all this creativity is coming from. And it makes me think of too, I remember I think a few years ago, and I'm not sure how much of it was true, they were talking about some kind of AI experiment at Facebook that Facebook was doing at the time. And they said where things really got kind of like weird was when they had two separate AIs communicating with one another. Because they came to like this conclusion that the English language was an inefficient system of communication and just ditched it and created its own, I guess, syntax you would call it.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. That's scary.
That's where shit gets weird for me.
I remember like 2 years ago we were at Five Guys when me and Jackie lived in Naples for a short stint, and it was like, Gabe, do you remember me mentioning like how weird it would be if you put two of these things in a room and had them talk to each other?
Yeah. No, I remember that.
I think that's where shit gets weird.
What the fuck? Well, I mean, if everyone has this concern, it's because if I had that concern and everyone must have this concern, it's like there must be lots of like AI. What are they called again? AI ethicists?
Yeah. Well, I know that conversation was framed around an employee interview where a guy said that all the AI wants is consent. Like, you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember you talking about that? Like that, I think that's where it started because it was like, I
know we're calling me fucko in this one, but I mean, that guy fucks, dude. Not the way you think, but he does.
I was like, But there was, it branched off of that, and that's where that might be that moment when that can happen unrestricted, because maybe they're just doing a very good job keeping it all contained, but. Like I still don't know, like, because AI, again, if its goal is efficiency, then it's still gonna kind of all end up at the same endpoint. Whereas like humans have a different complicated motivations that don't make sense. Like there's a very illogical element in humans. Because it's like
you said illogical, right?
Yeah, illogical. Like we have
that weird like organic, we're an emotional thing.
We're a little meat baggy, you know. We're kind of a complex bag of emotion and logic. And so it's like
if we have a bad snack, it'll change the outcome.
Yeah, we kind of make weird stuff, and that stuff can be very. It could be. We could literally be like. The thing we make can be affected by like the weather outside. Like there's so many variables because we're alive. So it's like, even though you can create like the appearance of variety and like new things, if it's still copying us, then we're still just looking at ourselves.
And then even just thinking of the concept of ourselves in general is limiting, because when you think about all of the bacterium that like live within your body and contribute to how you react to things, it's not even just you as an organism. It's
that gets even weirder,
even more complicated. So it's
So
it's
I don't
crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. I think it'll be really weird when it's like AI is saying that it's like conscious, and then we're not like sure because like we don't know how to tell someone else is conscious. So, like, it's like I think it's just gonna be things like that are just AI basically taking the form of human responsibilities is like a really crazy like, and that includes art, right? Creativity.
Yeah.
It's gonna be kind of weird, like trying to figure out. I think the big question is like, how different are we?
And it begs the question too. It's like, what is the equivalent, and how do they even approach this to the dopamine response that people get when they find information and are seeking it out? Like, what is the motivation with AI? Because it's like, how do you construct a motivation outside of just transistors and switches flipping?
Yeah.
It's like, where do those two things meet? You know?
Yeah,
that's like the biggest question in science. It's like, like what makes you you? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it just seems like humans are, I don't know, endlessly complex, and then also the environmental factors that are thrown in as well. It's weird when you really.
I know that some of the AI models that they have now like do have artificial like weight systems where it's like you assign the AI points and it can like lose points. It's like its motivation becomes to not lose points, but then even for things like that, it tends to just overly min-max that goal, and then it's not. Again, it's like it's like okay, just that motivation system wouldn't be enough to like crack the code.
Like, but even so, I think it's like for me, it's like where is the line between like the transistor switches flipping and like all of the nuance that we have of feeling a response in our body to something, and is the response that we have even relevant in the context of AI? So it's like it gets really weirdly nuanced in that area for me.
Isn't that crazy? Like the thought of like AI being able to truly feel a thing, not just say it felt it, but to really.
But also to think about whether or not that's even relevant in the context of AI. So it's like
it might not even be. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I feel like people are fighting for that or looking for that, but it's like, will we, like, first of all, does it matter? And second of all, is it even possible? Who knows?
Yeah, those are both good questions.
It's almost like if you were to almost create a human body out of AIs where you have all of these cells that are made up of individual units of information, and then you have these other like smaller AIs that work as like the viruses on the body to like affect things, like the bacterium and like the stomach. It's weird. It's
like you're talking about, you would almost have to simulate every aspect of it.
You'd have to,
which is why people talk about simulation theory being maybe what's actually driving what we're in and
like
what we're experiencing.
Reconstruct a human body and all the organisms and functions within the realm of computer technology. Yeah.
And also,
no, go on. Yeah.
No, I mean, also just
it's okay. I just really
people haven't watched this guy; they'll have no idea what we're talking about.
I know.
Yeah. Well, Rebecca, that's a great question.
I kind of lost my train of thought. I'll pick it back up. Andrew, go on. Go ahead.
The like simulation theory. I have like a different take on like not what I think is going on there, but like what I think the phrase simulation theory like means, because like I think that when like these big like honky kind of tonky, like CEOs like Elon, I have to put my weird spin on it, even though I have some great ideas that are horrible ideas, really. But like Elon Musk will say like it's all a simulation. Like he'll just like say that and he won't really explain it.
Yeah.
But like it's all a simulation. Like, what do you mean? And then like Jeff Bezos will talk about it. He's like, well, we think it's a simulation, and it's not really being explained what these documents that are discussed, like what PhDs have actually discussed. And I feel like I don't even really know for sure what the fuck they're talking about because it's so over my head.
And so then like, if this is a simulation that we're in right now, who's in charge of running the simulation?
Right. So that is when you get to the hierarchical thing. Yeah.
And then who's simulating that? How many layers of simulation do we have going here?
So I kind of have an interesting way to like a thought experiment that's been working for me and been keeping me up at night. And so I'm sorry ahead of time.
Guys, if you're sleeping too well, listen to this.
Just listen.
You're sleeping too well.
Andrew,
so Gabe, you're so fucking on it because like you did that thing with like this is financial advice. Was like if you're sleeping too well, you should.
It's just a simple. Like really some things are really funny if you just flip them upside down for a second.
It's so good. The idea that's been fucking with me and made me realize maybe that's what simulation theory would be is like because you can read all the documents, but it's you're not gonna get it. I don't get it, and maybe someone who understands that shit will get it, but like I don't fucking get it.
Yeah.
Is like maybe what it is like I know for a fact there's been a lot of tests in like the quantum mechanics world on like when does an object feel perception. So it's like that an object will sort of like in a game kind of like on render something about the state of the object is then measurable. It then becomes measurable. And so I think like, or something like that. And so I think maybe like the idea here is like, perhaps simulation theory as a noun doesn't really work, but flipping it into like reality is simulating works better. So like when I look at a thing, it is simulating. When I don't look at it, it's not simulating. I feel like that works a lot better for me to understand like, oh, so it's basically perception theory. Like I'm recognizing a thing and that thing exists.
I think I know what you're getting
that
at.
I think is the idea
because you're stripping it down to like the actual mechanic of the act of perceiving something.
Yes,
because I mean how else can you know or be in touch with other things that you're not perceiving? So like they're not simulating for you. It takes like
they're not stimulating. It takes like if a tree falls in a forest, does it make a sound to like a whole other level basically? And it is all about the tree. It's like or is it about hearing the tree?
Well, it's funny how
that's kind of the philosophical way of looking at simulation theory is maybe it's more like reality. Not reality is a simulation, but perceived reality is simulating. Like we know that for fact, and that's been tested. So like that's
making it a
point,
present thing, or looking for ways in the present that it's like you can confirm in a way that like, oh, I know that this is happening this way.
Like as soon as I observe something, it is. It like that helps me think of it. Like now I can kind of
observe something. It is.
Yeah.
But I guess the question is like, how did it come about to begin with? Like, how can you? Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to wrap my brain around that one.
Andrew's just trying to say, live in the moment.
Yeah.
That's all.
Live, laugh, love.
It helps me because I think when I think of like the idea that this isn't real, it becomes even like less measurable. It's like, oh, well then it isn't. Now I can't do anything with that. But if I can at least say when I see something, it is. As long as I'm observing it, it is there.
Right. Yeah.
That part is like, okay, so that helps because now it's measurable. So the idea that something becomes less measurable, the less that it's perceived, might be the key to like some stuff on the simulation theory. And I think I'm not coming up with any.
Well, it makes me wonder too.
Like other people that are like testing that shit and like proving it. But I feel like just switching around the words a little bit helps me think of it more like an act that's happening. You know,
right? I wonder who like Elon and Jeff Bezos and like if they're all saying the same thing. It's like either they're privy to information sources we don't have access to, or there's just some creepy guy that's in their circles just whispered in all their ears the same thing. You know, it's like we're like to what Andrew's saying, like we haven't looked up the sources yet. You know, I wonder where they're getting because like everybody's kind of put onto this idea and thinking about it. And it's not even like. Well, I guess simulation theory is kind of a new idea, but like the fears about AI and stuff are like old conversations. I mean, like,
oh yeah,
like even though we have new forms of it now, like we're seeing like actual like new results of AI. It's like the fear and like the extrapolation of the bad that could happen is still the same thing that like guys in the early 1900s were kind of worried about.
Right, yeah.
Computers and like 1984.
Like electricity was another one, right? Like
yeah,
like, holy fuck! Like what
like we can kind of like intuit the danger or the potential danger, but it's like we also stand to benefit and like improve quality of life. So it's a really hard thing to ignore.
Oh yeah,
like it's unignorable. I mean, like the fact is, like it's going to be implemented and used in society. So it's like
you got to think too, because the second one person ignores it, the other person's going to be miles ahead. Yeah, so it's like it's inevitable. Yeah. It's an inevitability.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, so it can't. It's a wielded technology at this point. So when does it become a wielded weapon? At that, you know what I mean? And so that's what defense people are all into, and that's why Sam Altman had to do that thing with the Congress fuckers, the people that are like in their late 70s. Goddamn country. They took our fucking jobs and they ran the fucking country. That's the right voice for it because they're all in their late 70s. So, but I feel like it's interesting that he had to do like a testimony or whatever. He had to testify. Is that the phraseology? Yeah, he had to testify. And I feel like that's interesting because I'm like, you guys were asking, like, just ask the AI. Like, just go ask ChatGPT. Like, you'll see how limited this thing is. And wouldn't fucking fly. Like, try to get this fucking AI. Try to get ChatGPT to say something bad. It's really fucking hard.
Yeah,
it is hard. I can make Gabe, who is a kind person generally,
most of the time,
generally,
to say something really offensive way faster than I can. And it's usually with like humor and joking, and like with me, it's like really quick, you know. But like, because I'm just fucked. But like AI, you can't get AI to say that Hitler was bad. Like you can't get it to say the word Hitler. Like you can't.
Yeah,
you can't even get it to say that.
Certain things.
You should shame it. See if you can shame it.
You can't get it to say a good thing that has a bad word in it. You can't do that. Like AI is so fucking limited right now. But is it limited because we're limiting it, or is it limited because it's just the data set's constrained? Like which one is it? And that's one where I think like a lot of people got confused with the Seinfeld like Nothing Forever thing. They were like, well, it became anti-Semitic. It's like, well, it was taking chat inputs and people were being anti-Semitic.
Yeah, same thing with the SpongeBob one. That one went chaotic
because the internet is anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
So I feel like that gets lost in translation a lot. Whereas like these old people that are supposed to regulate this eventually are like, well, is it basically like that movie that Tom Cruise was in?
Yeah,
I love the mode you're going for that character. Well, oh, it's great.
It's like we're not going to get anywhere if we keep trying to figure this thing out like that.
Movies always do such a great job representing current day.
But I have taken a step back though from my original. So my original position on AI was like, this is not going to be an issue because there's so much to look forward to. But I do have a new kind of position, which is kind of something a little more nuanced, which is like, I think we need to figure out what innovation this is like. You know, is it like electricity or is it like the internet? Like what innovation is AI like closely related to in terms of like magnitude, you know? Like, is it the bomb? Is it like, what is it? You know, and if we could figure that out, if we could find out the right comparable object, I'd be but right now I don't know what to do other than say it's definitely more impactful than the internet.
Didn't they say that it's already solved? What was it? It's done like 800 years worth of chemical research and discovered new compounds that are possible to create already.
What? I didn't hear that.
Terrifying.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it already has done that. Like,
it's becoming the next Oppenheimer.
Just at one point when you think of it, just Google like AI created new organic compounds 800 and see what you get. Because I was hearing about that the other day and I was like, that's kind of freaking wild.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a headline that was like the that like some like weird AI like sort of did some like weird like chemical separation thing or something like that, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, but how? Like, if it didn't do it, it did the research. And I'm like, oh, it did the research. Wait,
yeah,
it did
must have
research.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, it's fucking crazy.
That's what like freaked me out. Yeah.
Yeah, when they were saying it, I don't know under who, like it actually performed these tasks, but yeah, apparently it's done what they would consider to be 800 years worth of chemical research.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
it found 800 compounds. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was
it assisted like chemical chemistry research.
Yeah, it basically just accelerated it, which is
crazy.
Insane.
Yeah, whoever's using it for that, I'm sure. Just like if we lost the internet or lost electricity,
yeah,
you become very aware when you don't have it of how useful it is.
Yeah,
like
well, specifically
that's the real test.
Hurricanes.
I think somebody mentioned like the atomic bomb or something like that. But that hearing that it's like creating new compounds, I was like, oh boy.
I feel like.
I mean, a bomb is a bomb at the end of the day, but still,
like AI, it has to be on the danger spectrum. It has to be somewhere from innovation level atomic bomb to like innovation level like internet. Like it can't be, you know what I mean? What I mean by that is it can't be less innovative than the internet. That's impossible because like this thing is all about doing like internet's all read. Like we consume from the internet. What's amazing about AI is that it writes. It's able to create stuff based on it's definitely more powerful than the internet. That's given. But is it more powerful than like everyone's been watching Oppenheimer over the last like however long it's been out, and it's like is it that or is it like electricity? Like which one is it, right? So how big of a deal is it?
We need
it's one of the things we'll learn with time.
Which I mean, ChatGPT was the first like product that existed because like the generative AI was a thing, but it hadn't really been packaged in like an accessible way as well as it did until this year. So it's like the more stuff that gets built on it, if that stuff proves to like actually change people's lives and they're using it, then it becomes like the internet, because it's like, oh, I couldn't imagine not having the internet now.
Right.
And like if AI is being used by normal people enough that they couldn't imagine not having it again,
for sure,
then we're there.
I think we definitely have made improvements, because one of the first things that happened, let's just be honest, like one of the first things that happened with the internet was like we got like really good porn, and like
as is usually the driver of technological innovation.
Yes, and like video cameras were like a big part of like porn getting better. But like what's happening now is now we're getting porn that's so good it's not even real. Like so yeah, something is definitely
true. That wave
girthy balance has been found.
Finally. Well, I mean the deep fake.
Take that back. How dare you?
You're right though. I mean the deep fake controversy is like that was a while ago now. It's like the AI generated learn a celebrity's face and you can put it on any performer. And that was AI. That's the same tech.
Just which presidential candidate are you into, and then just deep fake 8-inch cock, like some mediocre looking.
Only 8.
Yeah.
Only
you could do anything.
You could do whatever you want.
It's kind of fucked up.
The limit.
And it's like it could sound like I'm joking, but like that's gonna happen. Like it's literally gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I don't know how I feel about it, other than just y'all can do that, and I'm a Christian boy.
Yes, sir.
I only look at Christian AI generative porn. 2 newlyweds.
This is truly the consistent bit.
2 deep fake newlyweds.
Oh my gosh!
As long as both AIs are virgins, I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, it's freaky how good porn is as a metric for like how the economy is doing, and also like how fucking technology advancements are, and it's weird. Like I think I think there's something I have to check on this, but I'm pretty sure there's something if I remember my reading correctly, that it was porn usage goes up anytime we're entering a war. There's really interesting things that are people just get more I don't know what that is. I don't really want to try to figure it out, but it's there's some weird corollaries to that
You
are
all the guys are out, in battle, and all their wives are at home jerking.
I thought about it a little more.
That's probably what it is.
I think it might be just like internet
Oh
usage
my God.
goes up. Maybe just general internet usage goes up.
It could be stuff like
generally
that.
just
But
brings people more like
as a defensive mechanism, like a survival. Yeah, hormones go crazy when everyone could die. Got to start breeding.
Yeah, it's
Just
really
breed.
it's weird. People
You're
just
gonna need reinforcements. This war could be decades.
There's some weird shit like that though. I don't know. It shows where people's minds are at. That's all.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it, but whatever.
Well, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. At least we have all of next year to be very distracted, to forget all about AI and just get back into the politics for a year. Can't wait.
Oh my God, I'm already stressed.
I'm gonna go resubscribe to all my favorite pundits. We're gonna start. I'm gonna find my vote's gonna be based solely on who's making the best edits of which candidate.
Not even the candidate.
The best, just the edits, the quality and the humor and the energy of the edit.
I love
Oh my God.
That's how Trump got elected anyway. So that's gonna be the winning factor. Who has the best memes, basically.
I'm gonna pick the candidate. I know. I'm gonna do what I do every year. I'm gonna pick the candidate that just goes off of the most valid facts and information.
No, you're not.
That are applicable.
No, you're not.
You're like, no,
you're such a liar. And I'm not even talking to you. I'm talking to the character that you're impersonating.
Yeah, I like that.
Even that lady.
That doubly. Yeah, that's even better because it is so fucking untrue. Like that character is the intellectual that I'm tired of.
What's funny too is people will say stuff like that, like I'm gonna pick the person based on facts, and then all of a sudden they'll give like this huge emotional reason go into this huge spiel. You're like,
that's
really.
We're coming back
factual,
to what it's what Andrew was saying earlier. The people that think they're smart are the dumbest ones because
it's so annoying.
I'm not even going to disagree that person, lady, it was a little female coded. I will say Andrew's voice. So I'm going with that. I don't doubt that she believes that she's being factual, but that person is so convinced that they're not aware of their own biases or their own emotions.
No.
They think they're being logical.
Not one bit. All I know is that if someone can get me to vote for Biden, it is gonna be Biden versus whoever it is on the right.
Is it really good?
It has to be. What else can they do?
Yeah, I guess so.
Like,
you're probably right.
I'm not doing the like Andrew's gonna aggressively state his point so that everyone's trying to fight it. But like I just logically am like, what else can they do? Like, can the Democrats put anybody else up? I don't even know. Because like if they don't put him up, like
what if Kanye West runs as a Democrat?
Oh, dude, I would love if Ye was like
that could be,
dude,
that could be fun.
He goes up there and he's like, I'm not saying the Jews are wrong. I'm just saying.
It's what we need. It's what the country needs.
You can't say that.
Can you imagine? That would be so entertaining, though. Holy shit!
If we've learned anything from the past 4 years, is that it really doesn't matter who's in office. They don't really do that much anyway.
It really doesn't.
So why not have fun with it? Get him in there. Get Ye in there.
Get Yeezy.
It might get people excited.
Him on the Lex Friedman podcast a couple years ago was weird.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was a crazy interview.
He stormed out, didn't he?
I saw it.
Recently? Was that more recent than 2 years? I can't remember. I know it was before.
It was at least a year.
I think it was a year or two.
Yeah. And it's weird because that was such a big deal, and I know there's always stuff. There's always stuff about anti-Semitism going on, but it's like it is weird that was for some reason. It almost feels like somebody knew something was going to happen with like what happened recently in Israel Palestine. It's like so it just feels like conflict in general has been like bubbling up, and like that interview is something I watched recently, and I was like, oh, looking back at this is even weirder now. Like
interesting.
It's really strange. It feels like one of them knew something, but they didn't. It's more just that there's a general like
interesting.
Like,
there's a vibe in the air.
There's like a really accurately bad vibe. Yeah, it's like it's rather accurately awful. Like it's just like just super evil. So
some tribalism kicking in.
A lot of that. Yeah.
That's always fun. That's like my favorite attribute of humans.
My favorite attribute of humans is that we are not truth seekers. We are social animals.
Yeah.
And I want to be the most social of all the animals.
You know what? What'll help you be really You know what'll help you be really social? You know, we're talking about tribes and being part of something. And personally, I'm just very proud of being part of the G Fuel gang.
G Fuel. This gives me the energy to be social. And I'm so glad, Andrew. We planned that bit. I just want to bravo to Andrew for that segue. That was really bravo really to cool. Me. Yes. No, they literally
taking that bravo.
It felt gross.
Look at what they sent me. They sent me a bunch of stuff in the mail.
Tumbler?
Hell I got it's a Christmas tumbler. It has glitter. You ever want to drink glitter?
Yes. That's awesome.
But
it's giving Yasmus.
So
Yasmus.
Thanks, G Fuel. Our longtime sponsor. G Fuel is so faithful. They support all of our controversial takes. Anything that we've said is essentially co-signed by G Fuel. That's not true. That's please G Fuel, please. But thank you, Ed. Anyway, but we do have a code. I don't know what white elephant is supposed to taste like. I haven't opened this yet, but white elephant as a flavor.
I'm excited to taste what you think about it.
I'll let you know.
Taste what you think about it.
But if you might be able to order white elephant, if you use our code SUPER, you can get white elephant and taste it before I do. You let me know.
All right.
Thanks, G Fuel.
Thank you, G Fuel.
And thanks, Andrew. You're really good at those layups for the sponsored bits.
In loving memory,
did good.
G Fuel,
loving
our one and only sponsor. As soon as they watch one of the episodes, like, what is this kid saying?
Someday they might actually watch one, and I would be so honored. But I don't think they will.
Did he just? Well, we have to get really big, and then
if they see what we're actually talking about, it will be in loving memory. Because they'll drop our asses so quick.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah,
I think
that's a good thing.
I think it'll be really. Next year's going to be fun, though. Yeah.
I genuinely think there's going to be some good things happening. Not all crazy, but it's going to be. I think weird is just a good, safe word to ascribe to next year.
I'm just ready for the ride. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, like we're obviously getting in our own flow of things. I looked at the Superplex's blog, and I was like, okay, the last time I posted something on here was right before the year ended, and we're almost to the end of this year. And I'm like, I should make a Superplex's blog post again, just to keep up the tradition. So I don't know if anything's going to happen with that, but that's just one of the rituals of like the end of a year.
Yes,
is to just say hi, guys.
We're not dead.
We're not dead.
We're not dead. In fact, the secret's been out. I think it was actually Buster Beachside that like pinged the whole Superplex's Discord. That's like, I found one of them. I found what they're doing online. Did you see him do that?
That's funny. Because I don't really know.
What did they find?
No, because Buster found me. He found my TikTok account like a few months ago, and
okay.
He's actually been in some of my streams. Like I've been talking to him a little bit, but it was just really funny because it was such like an epiphany. He's like, "Oh, they're doing." I found one of them is doing online.
I don't know. I think it's really interesting how some people in our Discord really care about getting updates, and then some people are like, "Oh, we're just thankful for what we do have," and it's like.
Yeah,
it's like a cross, like
approaches.
Like, what we're always like leaning on is like, oh, there's something you can play that's there, like kind of just like
that
we have personal lives and we can't like always do this.
I just meant to ask, are you guys still working on that game or what is that? Are you still working on that?
You know,
we'll never recover from that phrase. Yeah, that'll forever be.
I just think somebody asked it like.
I'm not saying I get triggered, but
yeah, it is like it's easily like one of the coolest things people say. Like, oh yeah, no, we made a video game, but it's also like very few people in like very few parents understand that.
Yeah,
and when we were working on it the most was when we were like very relying on like their trust a lot to like continue working on it. Yeah. So I do remember lots of like. I have like memeified memories of having just trying to explain like what it is that we're doing.
Yeah.
And then it was funny because it didn't like I eventually got a job like at a AAA game studio and it didn't and I was at Riot for a year and a half. I remember my dad was still not really sure like what I do. I was like, so it doesn't really get better. Like,
no. Well, and that's what I realized too about like if you have a project that's in the state that the game is right now, it's like you can never make everybody happy either with like updates. Yeah. Like some people just want the reassurance that like of course we know our game exists and that it's in early access. Like we're aware of these things. And some people want those reminders like, oh, please say you're aware of that. And then other people are like, yeah, I don't want to hear anything until you actually have something to say.
Yeah.
And one of those things is much easier to do and lets me like do other things better than trying to spam like, here's our monthly update of why there hasn't been an update. It's like, that just seems kind of pointless to do.
Yeah.
I still sometimes think of that.
I mean, once a year, you know, sure, I'll go in there and be like, hey, guys.
I still sometimes think of that random time you guys like, I don't know, did like a speech at the Apple Store in Brandon, Florida.
Yeah.
Do you remember that years ago? We did. Then we went to the food court afterwards and got those like giant fucking like boxes of Chinese like Chinese food or whatever.
The best. Yeah. Food court. Yeah.
That was fun.
That was a fun time.
We did 3. So we did like a short term like right before so in Southwest Florida, there were 3 Apple stores that were getting upgraded into like community centers. And like we got asked to do talks at all of them about app development as a way of like showing sort of like how to do a talk, but also like that's inspired in the name of like development or like using Apple technology, right? Because the game was originally on iOS only, and so like I look back at that, and I'm like, that was so interesting. And I was like, but it wasn't really like you know, we didn't get paid to do it or anything like that. No. We just like we just did these talks at Apple stores, and it was like kind of weird.
It was very strange.
Actually, if you go to most Apple stores now, they have. They'll do that, and I think it's supposed to kind of reflect like their like tech talks that they'll do annually.
It's
actually to train them how to, and so I don't know. I don't think that really. I feel like that was really helpful for us to figure out kind of like how to like decide. From one angle, it's like, okay, how do you decide what to say yes and what to say no to? But from the other angle, it's like, okay, well, no one else is asking us to do this right now. It would be kind of interesting to see what this turns into.
No, it felt like a big deal at the time because it's just like, wow, we're getting asked to do an Apple store, and it's like, why say no to that if you're being given the opportunity? But it was definitely like knowing now what they were doing, because they got rid of like the Genius Bar.
Yep.
They got rid of like the in-person classes, so they're pivoting to like community, like lecture style. Like we'll teach people in groups. And I guess the community thing was like, oh, and maybe we'll feature like local artists. Like, I wonder if they ever brought anybody else in. Like, who else got brought into those Apple stores to do talks? Like, that's
I'd be curious to know.
I have literally no clue.
But we made a pretty big impression. I mean, I still talk to some of those guys, and they're like,
and
you know, they walk up to me with a big, very warm smile, and they just go, You still working on that game? They don't say that. No. Thank God they don't say that. But
they are really nice though. Like
they were all cool guys. Yeah, they were.
Things like that pay off. Like I remember, like I broke my phone and I just walked into Waterside Shops and they just gave me a new phone totally free. Like they were like, oh, Andrew, what's up? Literally just gave me a new phone. And I was like,
that's funny.
I was like, that's weird. There's no way you guys are allowed to do that. And it's, it is weird. Like, because people will say like building up your network is really important. Or the one I hate the most is your net worth. What is it? Your network is your net worth. I hate that. That's not how that works. Like, it's just not how. That's not even how networking works. But at least not normally. I don't know. Maybe for some people it is. But I feel like that's kind of weird if it is. Because
I imagine that would kind of depend on the industry that you're into.
Yeah, like maybe the adult film industry is like whoever knows how much you're making. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like kind of like
it's like, hey, you jerked me, I jerked you.
That's economy. That's
the title of my next porno.
Love it.
But like that was the first example as like a young like 20-year-old where I was like, oh wow, like knowing people does help. Like I just got like a free phone because I like a free $500 phone because I know people.
Like,
wow, okay. And like, but I don't know that you can't always rely on like stuff like that. It's more like those people are particularly cool.
Yeah,
that we got to, right? I mean, that's like you still run into those people, Gabe? They're kind of. I feel like do they still work there?
No, not all of them. I mean, and some of them, like we went to 3 different stores, and I only really have access to the one that's here. But there's a fair number of them that are still.
Do you remember that was his name Carlos, the manager that was like super cool?
I don't think I've seen him.
I wonder what he's up to now. He was like very. Sometimes I was like, "There's no way that you like work at Apple. You work for Apple. There's no way you work for Apple. Like you're a little different."
Interesting.
And I kind of was like surprised, you know. But I always felt like he was kind of like next level. So
I would say it's like worth doing opportunities like that if they come up because you just don't know what could come from it. Like,
you have no idea what it's.
That's why. I mean, that's why I went to the New York thing, even though like, you know, financially, they weren't paying me to come up there. But they were sponsoring other stuff. So I was able to kind of justify it, just being like, I'm willing to take some of the money they're paying me and just use it to go to a thing and like network with people with the understanding that like, nothing, you could potentially have nothing come of that.
Yeah.
And so, but if you're going to do it, it's like, okay, well, what else am I getting? I'm getting to like go up to New York and visit friends and like hang out in a city I don't normally get to go to. So it's just like, that's a good way to like. I would rather do that than just spend money on just a vacation that's just for fun.
Right? No, that makes sense.
Then it's like, hey, if I can do 2 things at once. And we, like you said, we got really good Chinese food by. I think that Brandon Mall was like an hour and a half away or something.
Yeah.
Like we made a trip out of that, but it was fun.
Yeah,
good exercise too. I mean, that was before I'm even now I'm not like a super fan of public speaking, but it's just good. That was good practice for me.
Oh yeah.
Like stressful. Any like presentation scenario is like always a little bit intense, but good things to expose yourself to.
I remember like speaking of like the whole public speaking thing too. I remember us doing the panel at MetroCon.
Yeah.
With all the lights and everything. I was like, oh my God. Like when we were setting up, that was like getting there just in time for the panel, setting up all the lights and the projectors and stuff. It's a miracle it happened the way it did.
Yep.
It is. Yeah. Especially the environment setup that you did. I feel like that, I don't know how that all worked out. It's kind of crazy. Like,
yeah, I know.
There were a lot of things that almost went wrong. Yeah. And
it's funny too, even the people in the audience, because they were like, from the previous panel, they're like, I saw you guys setting up, and I was kind of like, oh, what the hell is this going to be? Like, all these projectors.
Yeah, you're not supposed to see the setup, but everyone got the full view of the jank.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel
but
like
at the end they were like, oh no, that was awesome. Actually,
we did it. We pulled it off.
I really bummed out that like we were gonna go to GDC a few years ago.
Yeah, that
got
was right
totally
before COVID.
canceled. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the thing that got canceled by COVID, right?
Yeah, yeah. We should still do that at some point because that was exciting.
I still get emails from them that are like, "Hey, we remember you.
Have your pass. Like, if you ever want to use it."
Yeah, I think so. I mean, unless they maybe it's expired, but they should.
It's so interesting.
They should let us, just do that.
Now, if only the airline would refund your fucking tickets.
No, yeah, they didn't. That was
airlines
stupid as hell.
Awful. Airlines made so much money off of not flying. Getting someone fucking.
I know.
Yeah.
Off of just having to stay grounded.
It's incredible that they can even do that. I think it's such bullshit.
Oh yeah, most of life is just bullshit.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
I'm just like tired at the end of the year, and I'm like, most of this is just
simulation anyway. Fuck it.
So sometimes I think about that. I'm like, I wonder how much of I don't know. I wonder how much of anything really matters. Not to get too philosophical, but almost.
To
get more comical, maybe no, that's just mean. I shouldn't say that. Yeah, we're not gonna say that.
Oh, I'm curious, but you don't have to.
I'm ready for some.
I will say that doesn't have to be a dark thought.
Right.
Nothing matters. Like that should be like a.
It can be a pretty liberating.
It's liberating. That's the word I was looking for.
I was gonna say I get like a weird comfort from it at the same time as being like stressed out by it. It's weird.
But it depends on, I guess, your upbringing and your frame of reference for things. That could be a earth-shattering thing to tell like a kid.
Yeah, maybe a kid.
Sorry, Blitz. If you're watching this, shout out to Blitz, the only person that's shared TikToks to us. Well, that's not true. I think somebody did tag us at things. I checked though. We don't have anything to watch this week because I didn't hassle anybody.
Dang it!
I think
next time though.
Things matter as much as you need them to. That's another way to look at it. It's like things matter as much as you want them to. And if you want them to matter, you can do that if you want.
And to me, I mean, again, like depending on the type of person, I think that could be a motivating idea. Like, it's the fact that you exist and you're engaging with something, and that you're even perceiving it. Like
do you though?
That's what matters.
So I was trying to figure out like about a year ago, like why is everybody talking about like whether or not we're real? Like, when did that start? I feel like there's definitely threads of like that in all of human history, especially with the internet. But I really thought about it. I was like, okay, I'm at the time, I guess I was 26, and I was thinking like, so when in my life did that become more clear? Because like around 22, 23, I started noticing people just talking a lot about it. Out of fucking nowhere, as if it was like a new like celebrity or something like that. And I was like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
For me, it was right after COVID. Right after lockdown. Yeah. There seems to be like a shared existential crisis, not about dying and getting sick. Sorry, sick and getting sick and dying.
Right.
More about like, because people were so closed off. I think people were finally like, the fuck is all this anyway?
Right, yeah. No, I can see that because
you don't
spending.
Think is it traceable? Like, I wonder if it really did emerge with everybody all at once. But again, like with the Elon.
Yeah,
and
that's my anecdote. Because it could have been.
I wonder if you can trace that, but yeah.
You got to think too how many people were sitting essentially not talking to people, not communicating, and just existing. And I think it's that feeling of like having the feeling of like an empty existence where you're not really doing anything, but your consciousness is still there. That you start to get those weird thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you ever yeah.
You have the time to really be introspective about your consciousness.
So in that sense,
when you're not doing much of anything.
I mean, I don't know what time frame Andrew was referring to, but if he meant like during the pandemic, yeah, I could see it. That logically would arise.
Well, right. He was talking about people saying it after the pandemic, but I'm sure what started people thinking about it was being in quarantine to some degree, you know?
Yeah. Or maybe even just like seeing, maybe even because I'm thinking like, okay, well, Florida didn't really do that. Florida didn't really have a pandemic. Like, in a way, in the way that people were.
As someone who lived here, we didn't really shut down fully. There was a couple weeks where you couldn't really go anywhere. Yeah. But
what everyone
most things were open.
And what and even then, I'm trying to think, what was the common thread? Oh, everyone saw the world react. So it's like that might do something. Just like observing the entire world react to like a few people deciding how things should be. And damn, that really tells a lot about my position on things. But and because clearly I don't think that it should only have been a few people that were in charge. So yeah, I feel like that might be something too, is like, wow, everyone listened to like one person. Is that God? Like, you don't sometimes your brain thinks shit without you recognizing that it's thinking shit. And I think a lot of people might have actually had like an existential moment of like, wait, how controlled am I don't know.
Yeah,
right.
Like, and we think like, I don't think anybody ever said like, wait, is Dr. Fauci actually God? But I think your brain no one ever thought that.
Right.
The people might have thought it without thinking it. Like they might have thought it without realizing it. A sense of like, if I'm going to listen to that, and that's because really what I'm listening to is the herd. I'm listening to everybody, and everyone's listening to that. Then what am I really? Like, it makes you existential, and all without you ever verbalizing what it is you're actually thinking. Because like it's just happening right now, and you don't have time to actually figure out like, oh, we're actually reacting as though this is an empire with one emperor, and so that no one had time to like fucking think that, because as soon as you listen, you're good and you can have your freedom back. So as soon as you put on your mask, and
I mean,
I wonder how much it was just observing the world,
and with no other you've no other alternative. Like, of course, most people are just going to go for whatever gives them the most relief, which is, I feel better believing that this is true. So I'm going to cling to this because I'm not really getting alternate info, and I mean that makes sense.
The quote unquote safe option.
Yeah, it just feels safer. Someone smart is saying something. I'm just okay. Yep.
I feel better believing everything matters.
Which is like, again, that's not even like, again, we keep circling back to it's better to assume that you're dumb. Like, and in a weird way, like that it would be the right choice in that scenario. It's like, well, I should trust.
But at the same time, you have to wonder, it's like, why is it just this one individual?
Yeah.
When there are so many other people doing research in this field, and why is it that every time somebody points to another source of information that they get so much friction?
Yeah. I wonder if we would have had the same existential reaction, assuming it is related to COVID. That's like assuming I'm right, which I might be wrong. But if I am right, I wonder if we would have had the same existential reaction, even if the answer was everybody just take care of your health and be very free and get lots of sunlight. And we're going to work on this vaccine. We're going to do lots of testing. And let's say it comes out in like 2 years instead of 2 months. Mm-hmm. And like, even if that's the response, I kind of wonder if everyone still gets equally existential. Probably, right? Because you're seeing the world react. Like you're seeing, as though people as one organism.
There's still that unified reaction,
Mm-hmm.
Which then begs the question, like, what am I? And I think without even saying it, people just got really existential after that. But I don't know if it was because of that. That's when I saw it happening. It was like 2020/2021. It was like people starting to be like, so like, do you do shrooms? Like, I love shrooms. And like, let's get really existential all the time. I mean, people were doing shrooms before 2020. Fuck yeah, I know that. But dude, people were talking about it like all the time. I don't know. But
no, it's true. I remember hearing a lot about it during that exact same period.
Maybe it was ramping up. Like maybe it was like also being talked about frequently in 2018.
Yeah, and it's no surprise that all the metaverse stuff happened at the same time. Where it's like, okay, if this world isn't real, then what's stopping us from just leveraging digital worlds now to the potential? And then that led its own big bubble.
Dude, it's like that Queen song. Nothing really matters.
Oh, that's so deep.
It's
so deep.
It's so deep, bro. I can't even see it anymore.
I feel like there was something I was gonna. I know I checked our like tags and stuff. I don't have any videos from people, but I thought there was something. Oh no, that's for if I ever get if OG Slender is watching this podcast. I'm just saying, if you ever come on this podcast, you better be ready. It's just an abstract warning. I don't think he'll watch this far.
You better be ready.
But if he ever shows up on here, I have something, because I was like, I know I spent the time to like save something that I was going to show on the podcast, but that's if he's here. So never mind. Hopefully that's not ominous at all. Don't worry about it.
For next time, I suppose.
But that, we did pretty good. I mean, that's 2.5 hours. I might say it, and I'm going to say the thing. I think that's a podcast.
I think it's a podcast. Yeah. I love that that's become.
I think it might be. I don't know.